Welcome to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Our producer Samantha's here. Hello, Sam.
Hi.
What's new?
Not much.
I like your Firefest shirt.
Thank you. This is a gift from Pariah Mike.
Is that a real Firefest shirt?
I'm going to go with no.
Probably
Can you even get
replica.
those?
I don't
Did
think
they
so.
do the whole thing that they do with the?
It's probably a spreadshirt t-shirt, you know. You can
It's
make
cool
your own.
looking. It looks legit. But yeah, head over if you want to be scammed about as much as Fire Festival. Head over to tomanddan.com and sign up to be a BDM or get some of our merch.
Oh, yeah. We'll scam you good.
Oh, we're the scammiest.
So, last night, I
You look rough.
sustained an injury.
Well, you look like you've been beat up
Uh,
a little bit.
Yeah.
You have a
so-
poofy face a little bit.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
yeah. Well, that's just alcoholism.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, above
That's
that,
normal.
there's there's some contusions on your.
Yeah.
head.
So, all right. After the kids took their shower.
Oh, they're showering now.
Yeah. They every once in a while they opt for the shower. And so after
Like a big boy.
yeah. After the shower, I usually do about a half an hour of light wrestling, or
Okay.
all
fighting.
right.
That'll get them
you
to
know?
settle down for
Yeah,
bed.
yeah. It's always
Crystal
good.
hates it.
It's always good to do your wrestling after the shower, not before.
Yeah. I
This
do it
is all-
before
this-
too.
yeah.
Oh,
all
okay.
times.
Yeah,
All
Andrea,
around.
Andrea hates that too because it's supposed to be quote quiet time, but I
Yeah.
just can't stop tickling.
So
Gotta tickle.
I sometimes I play this character. It's kind of a special needs sloth type monster that he's trying to just get love. And then
Oh, my
Wow,
God.
I might know this
and then
guy,
the boys are scared of the sloth because
but they don't understand that the way to really beat the sloth is to give the sloth love.
Yeah, but he's
and
just
make him your friend.
it's probably, not PC if you saw the actual reenactment at my house because love, give me love.
You're the monster from Frankenstein.
No, wait a minute. Is this the
Yeah.
monster? Is this monster chasing your wife or chasing your sons?
Well,
love, give me love, like that.
When the
Do you
boys
sing a song? You go like, love, give me love. I am the love monster.
when the boys go to bed, I
Oh, yeah.
start.
And then you do the same thing. You just go a little deeper. Love, give me love. I am the love monster.
I start Hills Have Eyes attacking my wife.
Yeah.
She hates
Oh,
too.
my
Yeah,
God.
cutting her shirt off with
Yeah.
a pair of scissors inside an RV, and then you take the
That's a disturbing scene. By the
yeah,
way.
that is a disturbing. That's a disturbing scene. And then
This
what?
movie shouldn't exist.
And what do they do to make it worse? So they cut the mom's clothes off with a pair of scissors.
This
It's horrible.
this scene traumatized me.
You did to me
Yeah,
too. And then
yeah.
what do? They take the guy out, tie him to a tree, burn the tree.
yeah.
Those
I'm
were the
like-
two worst parts of that movie.
Yeah, that is.
Those two
I mean,
far.
those
Yeah.
two scenes. I was like, why?
I
who-
made Jessica cry in the movie theaters because I took her to see that movie.
I look at when
she was
Griffin
so mad.
Jess-
She was so mad at me.
How do you get done with filming that and go like, that's a wrap, guys? I think we really did the world some good here.
Grifton Jess doesn't need the so much heavy
No,
content.
Oh, she was
Yeah.
mad.
Yeah.
She's
I
like,
mean,
why did you make me watch this? I'm like,
Griffin-
I didn't know.
Griffin Jess is okay with a left-handed cigarette and an auto trader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you don't
Yeah.
need to give her something
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. She don't
I
want your
didn't know.
serial killing and mutant
Yeah.
rape scenes.
No, she doesn't want
It was
that.
rough.
Give her the latest single by Jelly Roll and a left-handed cigarette. She'll be just fine.
So anyway, I'm chasing the boys around, and I'm
Love,
like,
give me
I'm
love.
like, give me love.
Now, are you saying sloth as in like the animal or sloth from the Goonies?
Sloth from the Goonies?
Gotcha.
Like that type of monster who
Well, he was a human being.
he's a
He's a
kind
monster-
he's a
monster
kind-hearted
man.
monster, but he's
He's
scary.
misunderstood.
Yeah, he's misunderstood. That's what I'm kind of going
And he
for.
has some
Okay.
communication issues.
And then the boys are nude because they're out of the
What?
shower, and
This took a turn.
Yeah.
I'm wrestling. And then when I catch them,
Even Sloth, I feel like, would be like,
Too
put
far.
the clothes on before
Yeah.
I chase you.
Put on your tidy
This
whities.
looks weird.
and then when I finally catch them, I pet their hair, and I'm like, and they hate it, and they're like, ah.
If I were Crystal, I would, while you're doing the and petting their head, I would be silently packing my things.
And then if I catch like Max, then Tommy will try to save Max and like pull him away, and I'm like wrestling. I'm like holding his feet. He's holding the arms. I'm like,
Wait,
"Ah."
how's his collarbone, by the way? Are you ripping his
Oh,
arm
yeah,
out
yeah,
of
make
socket?
I'm
making it
slapping
worse.
that
Hold on, I'm
crazy.
doing the
Okay.
trailer for the movie. It's one monster and two naked boys. An unlikely friendship.
His collarbone seems fine now. He stopped complaining about it like 1 week into it, and Crystal was like,
is
"Wait,
it healed? Is it not healed? Nobody knows. There's no science to prove it.
Yeah.
There's no way to figure out if he's healed.
We never took him back for his final appointment because
Just like the vasectomy appointment. Yeah. You guys never go to your exit interviews.
it's like $180 for what? For you to tell me he's fine? I know he's fine. He's been doing flips in the pool. Like,
he's fine.
Anyway, so I'm a special needs sloth, and I just need love.
Love, give me love.
So we're in the playroom, and then at a certain point, they're trying to fight me off by throwing things at me. And
Still nude?
Still nude.
Okay.
And there's this. They got it for I think Christmas or something, and it's like a golf machine type of Fisher Price thing where you press this lever with your foot, and it loads a golf ball onto the tee, and then you hit it with a Fisher Price
And this
golf
is an
club.
inside toy.
Well, it's supposed to be outside. It's just
Okay.
it's in the playroom in the giant pile of other plastic Chinese
the
garbage. Yeah.
Garbage pile.
And so it's sitting there, and it's got like a sleeve of plastic wiffle ball golf balls that basically go onto this like ramp that will gravity kind of feeds it into the thing or whatever. So there's probably like I would say 10 or so of these plastic golf balls. Now they're hollow and they're like a wiffle ball, really light.
Yeah, I've got a picture of them up
yeah,
at
yeah.
twitch.tv/Tom
They look like
and Dan
real
Live.
golf balls.
Well, one of them is real.
One of them is real. See, look.
And yeah, I know
I
you
can
can see
tell.
where I'm going with this.
Yeah, this one is a matte finish. This one is a matte finish. And as you scroll down a little bit, this one here is a shinier.
That's
like
the real one.
A golf
Okay.
ball.
So I'm not here to accuse anybody, but someone while they're cleaning up the playroom
Oh, I see.
loaded a real golf ball into the mix of light Fisher Price golf
I mean, the
balls.
same thing happened to Brandon Lee, right? I mean,
That's right. You're right.
Yeah. So the boys
you got to be very careful what happens on set.
they got over to that machine, and then they started taking the light Fisher Price golf balls and throwing them at the sloth monster.
At the love monster, yes.
And it was funny, and I'm like, "Ugh," and I'm trying to I'm knocking the golf
You're
balls
like,
off.
don't golf ball.
Okay. I'm doing the whole thing,
Yeah,
and
you're
then
really
I'm-
into it.
Yeah. And so they're throwing the light golf balls, and I'm whacking them away, and then I'm like throwing them back. And then Max just picks up what he thinks is another
He's got an arm, too. He and Maisie
Yeah.
can throw. They can throw.
like
With the good arm or the bad arm?
Fisher Price. Well, now both arms are good, but he's got the good right arm. I don't know what.
He can wing it.
And he picks it up, and he doesn't notice that this is the heavy, real golf ball.
Randy Johnson.
I don't notice it either, and he, similar to Randy Johnson.
Man, he
total puts his entire body weight and everything into this throw.
And he's kind of baseball player's booty.
Which
if he throws that big Kirby Puckett ass of his into it, oh my God!
And
put your head up to the camera just so
and
everybody
I-
can see your
and I'm just like,
contusion.
no.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
I'd throw a golf ball at you too.
What I just put on camera is horrible.
I'm like, give me love. And then he
my
throws with all his might this golf ball, and it ricochets off my skull. And I'm like, it hurts so bad.
My bad, dude.
Did
You
you black
legitimately,
out?
you're lucky
It
you didn't
hurt.
get a black eye because it'll start to just travel down your face. You have
It made a sound Crystal heard from the kitchen.
like a watermelon thump.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the worst.
And,
did it ring your bell? Because sometimes
Oh
you,
yeah,
Right.
I mean it.
Concussion?
No, not concussion. More like
Stunned.
it stunned me because
What of the monster? Did you start talking regular at that point where you're like, "Go on, give me love"?
Fixed it.
yeah.
No, immediately I was like, oh! Like,
How do you not curse in front of him
Yeah,
too? Oh
no,
my
yeah.
God, it's hard not
Oh, Max immediately it freaked him out because he got scared that he hurt Daddy. You know,
to.
like
Oh,
he didn't mean
he's
to.
Scared of the second wave of the monster coming to really get him.
And really, I immediately I went and I looked at myself in the mirror and I could see the dimples. Like all the dimples in the golf ball.
Oh, my God.
Were imprinted in my forehead. for how hard he hit me, and then a big old chichon started growing.
What's a chichon?
It's like a lump, a Miami lump.
Miami lump.
Wait, is that
my friends call?
Is that verified?
Chichon.
Why is it every time somebody says something that is Spanish, I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm looking it up.
Because most
I
of
don't
the
trust
time,
it.
okay, hold on. Most
Juan
of the time,
knows.
when you're white bread, Johnny White bread.
Yeah.
When most of the time when you say something like that,
Ah,
it is
He's right.
it's usually racist.
yeah.
It usually is.
Yeah, usually, but this.
depending on the context, but in the noun, it is chichon, is
Chichon.
bump on the head.
Yeah. That's a Miami thing, but
There's not a song about chichon. Chichon, bump on it. Chichon. I want love.
Yeah. So that was my last night, and then
Oh my God.
and then the rest of the night. As an adult, you rarely get bumps on your head anymore.
No, yeah,
Speak
you don't,
for yourself.
Well, like
Yeah,
you don't.
yeah.
Well, yeah.
Samantha.
We don't fall down a lot. Well, these are all things that Samantha
if
does
I was
all the
drunk,
time.
so-
But like
if
falling
you drunk
down,
fall through a door, yeah, you'll get a chichon.
Oh, I got more than a chichon. Lost half my eyebrow.
Yeah, like it. There are certain things that you lose. Like when I was riding that electric skateboard with Maisie and I fell off. When I hit,
Yeah.
I was like, I haven't done that in 15 years, and it
Right.
hurt.
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
made a noise like you'd filled a pillowcase full of like 5 to 12 pork butts, and you just threw it off. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
when
yeah.
it
Yeah,
landed, it was
it's
just
a
like
foam.
no. There's a squish too. It's like
Oh.
it's like a big. It's just like. And I'm like, oh! It's like, it's not
Yeah,
the
yeah.
same. Like when Maisie falls now, she just kind of bounce roll.
Well,
Oh yeah, it doesn't even affect
Your
her.
bones get more brittle. You're stiffer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I'm completely fused.
yeah, that'll happen.
Like there was nothing more
Your
disappointing.
reflexes aren't as good.
Yeah, but like there's nothing more disappointing as a child than getting an action figure that you can't move its arms.
Yeah.
It's not fully articulated. It's just a guy. That's what I am now. I'm just a guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
I can't move anything. I'm just here. You can make me walk around. I don't bend. My arms don't move.
Yeah, speaking of that, my sons only like to play with action figures that can their arms and legs can move,
Yeah.
and then like they have joints. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, fully articulated.
Yeah, they're fully articulated, like the old GI Joes.
Yeah.
If they
They had like 360 swivel arms
Yeah.
and a swivel waist with a rubber band in the center.
and they'll have some toys where their arms move, but the legs are straight, and they hate them.
Yeah.
And then the other like they have
Some don't even move at all.
Yeah, they have ones that are just the mold.
Or some they just
hate
bend
those
it,
too.
they just bend at the waist. Like their arms don't move, legs don't move, but they'll bend at the waist so you can fit them in a vehicle.
Yeah. They don't like that.
Yeah, what good is that?
So they'll go to their like Bobo GI Joes that are fully articulated before they'll play with their like Marvel action figures
Yeah,
that are
that are-
molds.
yeah.
Because they like moving, especially the legs. They like moving the legs like to replicate running.
his legs when he skips, so we like to move our toys' legs.
Watch, our GI Joes can skip.
Oh, by the way, that's become an ongoing joke, and my whole family bullies me.
They make you do it. It's
Oh.
like a party trick
Well,
now. They're
now-
like, come out here. Tom's about to skip.
Yeah.
Skip for him, baby.
Yeah. Then now Max learned how to skip.
Oh.
And
Oh, he
How'd you-
surpassed you.
How'd you
Yeah,
let
yeah.
him? That's why he threw the golf ball at you.
He's bullying you
Yeah,
now.
he is bullying you a little bit.
and then like my mother-in-law and sister-in-law were over the house. They're like, "We heard you can skip. Let's see it." And then I'm like,
Oh, now you're
Oh,
like
man.
the world's worst male review. You're like, somebody said you got the goods, and by goods I mean you can't skip. So why don't you skip for us? You
Have you been
idiot.
working on it? You said you were gonna perfect
No,
it.
I gave up.
Oh.
Now I'm
No, I think I can teach you. What if I
I'm
said
hiding. I'm hiding.
What if I said between now, much like in any good 90s movie where we take the nerd girl and I give her a makeover and she's really the bombshell,
Yeah.
I can get you to skip by the Freddie Free Show.
Oh, okay.
Guaranteed.
Well, if this was a true '90s movie, it'd be like I take my hat off and my glasses and all of a sudden, like,
Sometimes you got to do what it takes to skip. Dun, 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 dun. You gotta put in the work and the elbow grease and don't quit. Cause you gotta skip to the top of the mountain if you wanna be the best.
yeah.
Like that?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
I like in those movies too. Like, even when she had the hat and glasses on, she was a smoking hot 10. I can see.
yeah,
I can see
How about she's all that?
Yeah, what if you're into
didn't-
nerds? I married one. Sometimes I look at the nerd. I'm like, no, leave her alone. She's got the glasses. I like that.
Yeah.
Why are you like making her look like everybody else?
Yeah.
You're taking away her individuality, and I like the nerd.
Putting some glasses and hat on didn't mean like ew, like a sloth. It's just like he's just got
Now-
a smoking hot chick, put a hat and glasses
Now,
on.
the opposite of that, the 180 is Sloth from the movie Goonies can't do anything with it.
Yeah.
You could grow his facial hair. You
Yeah,
could
yeah.
put him
I
in
can
like
still tell.
full hipster clothes.
You can put a pillowcase over his head and be like, "There's a sloth."
Oh my God, that's a sloth.
yeah.
He was a beefcake,
And
though.
he had
If you
that-
put a paper bag over his head.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Really? You don't think
Yeah.
you could tell a little bit?
He was built like a old 1972 Dolphins O lineman.
He looks like who is
strong
Dick?
man.
Yeah, he's got the body of Dick Butkus,
No.
but the face of Rocky Dennis.
Yeah.
More of an almond.
Did he have
head.
a tiny little
Hair
he
puff.
He had
Yeah,
an
he a little
almond head,
tough.
and he had the
He had a
that's-
Bubba Whoop-Ass Wilson head.
Yeah. Oh my God. He did.
His own head. Yeah.
It's called the Burt. And by the way, Bubba's real name is Burt. And I'm thinking there's the reason it's called the Burt is if you look at Burt from Burt and Ernie,
Yeah.
and you look at Burt Wilson,
Their heads
same
are
head,
Yeah.
little tuft of hair on the top.
Yeah, you know who also has that?
Who?
Sinbad.
Sinbad
Yeah,
does have
he
the-
does.
Sinbad has the bird.
It's the almond head, and then on the top they just hot glue a little,
Little troll hair.
Yeah, I want
We
that.
are
Let's
terrible.
all cut our hair like that. Let's all do a fade.
But our heads
no, but you can make it look that way
Oh, okay,
through,
yeah.
like John the Barber. He can shade it and give us
Yeah,
a
yeah,
fade,
yeah,
so
yeah.
it'll be like darker, lighter, or no, it'd be lighter, darker, darker, poof.
BT Dubs, Sloth was actually played by an American football defensive lineman.
No, really?
Yeah.
Was it Dick Butkus?
John Daniel Matuzak?
John
Not
Daniel
really.
Matooks, the hot
How
sauce
funny
hair.
is that? We're like, he's built like
Yeah.
an old
well,
defensive-
that
Oh,
makes
you
sense.
said
He was
that.
6'7". Yeah.
Yeah.
He played for the Oakland/Los Angeles Raiders.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he
and
played
later
for the
joined the
Oakland
Houston
Sloths.
Oilers. So that makes sense.
It does make sense.
Why
did I go? It does make sense. And then I go.
hold the boulder. By the way, how did Sloth get out of there? Did he?
Oh, he didn't.
I'm
Didn't
surprised
know
they
you got
didn't. I'm surprised they didn't do another movie, kind of following his misadventures.
I
Right?
thought there was like some really crappy Goonies too. No,
I want to say there was a Goonies too.
there was.
Was there?
Oh no, never mind. This is there was a Goonies 2 video game. And then there was one of those fake fan trailers
No,
of someone
those
doing
don't
Goonies
count.
2 Never Say Die.
Why did the pirate ship sail off at the end? It's seemingly hundreds of years old, and the rocks just broke, and then it just broke free and just is sailing
Yeah,
off
caught
with
some
no
wind.
sails.
Finally free.
Caught some wind.
no sails.
Did they not have the sails up?
No.
It's a pirate, like a ghost ship. From the Twitch chat room, people are asking, "Can you get almond head adult onset almond head?"
Oh, I don't know.
Man, that's bad.
It seemed like Sinbad
Maybe if you
got
had
that.
an accident, I think.
No, I think Sinbad always had almond head, but I feel like he just cut his hair tighter. And
Yeah.
when you
and as he,
and when you
male
shave
pattern baldness,
yeah, when you shave down the sides of your almond,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
who on the show is gonna get almond head? And it won't be Sam.
Nah, Butler.
Butler, are you here?
I don't know. He's got the Neanderthal skull.
Yeah,
Is Butler
yeah.
here?
Not quite
Yeah, yeah.
almondy.
Butler, get in here. I want to look at your head to see if you'll get almond head.
Yeah. Let's see.
And then I'm gonna ask
He
you.
might,
about,
actually.
And then I'm gonna ask you about carrots.
He may.
Hold on.
No,
on.
I don't. There's no really almond
Yeah.
head. He's got.
I don't think you're gonna get the almond head. No, your head's too round.
I may get the almond head.
Hold on, look at mine. Let me take my hat off here.
Yeah.
Do I look almondy?
No.
I'll get the almond.
Yeah,
I don't think you can.
And
I
I'll
don't-
shave
Women
it down
don't-
and get just the troll hair at the
I
top.
don't think it happens to women.
Yeah,
Name
yeah.
a woman.
I got to get the poof to hide the almond.
Name a woman that has almond head. I don't think I can name a woman in Hollywood that has almond head.
I'll have to think about this. Hold on.
Never. Yeah.
Can we could
They
yeah.
hide it with the hair, right?
Yeah.
We'll have to reach out to Bubba and see maybe if we can talk to him about his almond head.
Yeah.
He gets real sensitive about it. though.
yeah.
I don't want to.
Well, maybe at this point,
radio
dude.
war or anything. You can make that guy mad. You know,
I think it's fine.
we don't need that. We don't need that. Okay, my
What
stress
about
level.
Reese Witherspoon? If
I
she
think
shaved her
she's-
head, she might have. An
I don't
almond
think
head.
she has an almond head.
Yeah. She,
Like my wife has a reverse almond head. That's where she has a pointy chin, but as her head goes up, it gets bigger, like either a Remax balloon or Kelly's homemade ice cream cone.
That's an alien. Like,
Oh my
alien,
God.
alien. My
Yeah.
wife's got the alien ice cream
Yeah.
cone head. I used to call it ice cream cone head, but alien's meaner.
My wife's got the big Buford.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Hers is just
Big
it's,
Buford.
Yeah, she.
It's like a her.
Her
She got a
family
head
has
like
big
a
heads,
She got a head like a 3-pound gummy
Sloppy and
bear.
delicious.
and she gave it to my sons.
Your
and-
kids do have some big heads.
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
huge.
yeah. I do. I look at their heads, and I'm like, your heads are giant.
Yeah.
and they're gross me out, bro.
Oh, come on.
I saw one of them like they were sitting on the bed, and one of your sons fell over, and his head just pulled his body off.
yeah.
Now Maisie has the
big.
opposite. Maisie has a tiny Beetlejuice head.
Oh yeah.
Tiny little Beetlejuice head, like a grape.
Yeah.
And she has really thin hair like the Crypt Keeper. I'm like, ew, yuck. And when I brush it, it falls out. Disgusting. I flush it down the toilet.
Yeah, us butlers have big old heads. Like,
Yeah,
Well,
maybe
it's the
my
butlers
wife's,
have big
Neanderthal.
heads. Yeah,
my
it's,
wife's a butler.
yeah, butlers big heads. That's what we
Are
do.
you
Butler
related
big heads.
to? Have we traced to see if our butler and your butler intertangle?
Ooh, what if they were
There's
related?
There's a lot of butlers. I think it's because there were a lot of butlers in the
Yeah.
world, and then your last name ended up being Butler because you were literally
right.
the butler.
These
So-
are the blue. You guys come from blue collar stock.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Unlike me, like straight royalty. I mean, like the.
Uh,
I mean, long line of very, very small kings. Very small
I
kings.
never understood. I understand being curious about it, but like. You
Oh,
know,
man,
your-
I can
well,
surprise you.
Your ancestors, I'm like, might
I
as well
can
be a
su-
stranger,
Yeah,
right? Who cares?
I was gonna say I can surprise you. I do not care.
Yeah.
Andrew is like, don't you want to trace it and just like see like? And I'm like, I got no time to do that. What am I gonna even do with the knowledge?
Yeah. Like my papa.
And what
is
if I
like,
find out something bad?
I see pictures
no,
like
right?
this is my dad. It's like this is your.
Oh, you
great-
are going to find something bad. 100%.
No, I'm not talking about like a disease or something. That's fine. I mean, that's coming to get you. But I'm talking about like you go back in time and you're like, and your great grandfather was the worst man in the world.
a serial rapist. You're
Yeah,
like, what?
I'm
yeah.
like,
it'll,
yeah.
it'll
But then
happen.
again, it's like it's a stranger.
There's someone in my
who cares?
family
Yeah.
tree that a lady. She was one of the first people executed. Women executed at the Tower of London
Really
for murder.
God.
Yeah.
Was
Whoa,
she?
send me that story. I want to read about it.
There's all kinds of crazy
great
stuff in my
almond
family
head
tree.
murders.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
great almond.
Yeah.
Man, it must have been rough living back then. If you think about like how good we have it with
Well,
8,
especially for women.
yeah,
or people
yeah.
of color. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys were golden.
Oh, yeah.
Not me. I'd have been picked on.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He'd be, they'd be throwing him off the mountain.
Oh,
if you know what I mean?
exactly,
Kick them right off.
Yeah. It didn't make the
The
cut.
run of the litter.
I don't know what to do with you. You ain't quite a midget and you ain't quite a normal. That's what they would say to me.
Yeah.
And then I'd probably have to go be with the little people because you guys are so judgmental and horrible. I'd have to go there and befriend them because
Yeah.
they're sweet.
You'd be
you guys
the-
are terrible human beings.
You'd be
I'm
like-
fine. This is my family now.
the jester. You'd come in and entertain,
Yeah.
dance around,
Sing
and,
a song.
Drink this poison water. Tastes good to me.
Yeah. They're like, hi, he's
Yeah,
dead.
we knew it. I knew it when I called it poison water.
I'll say, like, you guys' senses of humor are messed up. Like, you're laughing at horrible things.
Yeah. I remember as a kid, because the only history they teach you is, it's all garbage. And they tell you, I remember the two shocking things I found out when we were discussing like medieval times was the teacher had told us that kings would use their court jester not only for entertainment, but to also taste gifts that might be given to the court. And also, kings kept large dogs around them so that when they were done eating, they could wipe their hands on their dogs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like as
What?
like
Like
a
a napkin?
towel or
Yeah.
napkin?
Look that up. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just something I remember a teacher telling me. It's a new segment I'm doing called "Teachers All Lied to Us." It's a great segment. It's gonna be wild.
I believe it.
Do you think kings actually wipe their hands on dogs?
Yeah. I mean,
And they kept them in their bed. They kept them in their bed because it keep them warm, and the fleas or insects that might be around would go to the dog, not to the human.
Yeah. So you get the fleas.
I don't know
off
if any of
your-
that's true. That's just what I was told.
That makes sense. Like I said, rough living.
Sometimes I've looked at Caesar after I've eaten something gross and been like, I just want to wipe my hands on him just to see what it's like.
My rib fingers all over
Yeah.
my beautiful husky.
Yeah, you just wipe them
it
all
down.
over it, because it's not they would have looked at the dog, I think, as it's working. It's not a beautiful companion,
Yeah.
we, as a civilization, this is the perfect time to be poor but still live a comfortable life, right? More than any other time in
think
the
so.
world. Like, it depends on where you live and what
Yeah,
country
and
stuff,
also
but-
kind of what you're going through,
But like, if you are poor and your situation, you don't have that too many, funds, you could still probably have a house with AC, some sort of entertainment for relatively inexpensive, that kind of thing, and not live such a difficult life. I mean, more difficult than the person with money, but still probably 100 times better than someone of your relative wealth 100 years ago, right? It was just
Yeah.
the best time.
Yeah, I would agree with
you
that.
could live more comfortably being poor. Not like homeless poor, but like lower income.
Yeah.
Because it's just things are so cheap nowadays.
Someone has a whistle booger.
It's Butler.
It could be me.
Go ahead, give it a good toot.
There's a little whistle there.
Yeah.
Is there a little whistle
you
in
got a
there?
lot of Neanderthal nose hairs.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think.
all the-
Big thicker. Big thickers in there.
Yeah.
My nose was itching earlier, so I think I may have loosened
They're
up a
not even
booger.
like hairs. They're like
Straw.
Brooklyn Bridge wires. like, good Lord.
whale braille.
What are you trying to do? Tie down the tent at Cirque du Soleil?
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back and we'll do some voicemails or something. We'll be right back.
We'll
with
see you
more
tomorrow.
Corporate Time. Welcome back to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Let's jump into some of your voicemails, some of your emails, some of your concerns. If you want to drop an email, drop a line to a show at tomanddan.com is the easiest way to get a hold of us. And if you want to leave a voicemail, actually leaving a voicemail would probably be easier. Just get our free app. Wherever you get your app, search Tom and Dan or A Mediocre Time. It'll pop right up. All of our content's on there. You can sign up to be a BDM member. Use our love meter, pay as much as you want, and help us out a little bit.
Yep.
We're trying to do more and more shows, more go-tos, better stuff. So check it out. This one, let's try this one right here. Hopefully I won't have to edit any of these. I think I might have to edit one of these, so we'll just take our chances.
All right.
Hey, Tom and Dan, Steve in Richmond. Hey, guys, I was just listening to one of the past shows where you guys were talking about the Funny Face drink mix commercial, and got me thinking. Last weekend, I was driving with my 14-year-old son, and a Van Halen song came on the radio, Hot for Teacher. My wife happened to be a teacher, so I was like singing it, going, oh yeah, I'm hot for the teacher. And then I remembered back in the 80s, because I'm an old fat dad, that particular video, if you guys remember, depicts the band as what I think are elementary kids ogling hot teachers dressed in bikinis dancing on top of the desks. So was wondering, if you guys like to comment on that, but I ended up talking to my wife about it, and she remembered it, and I was like, things like that just don't fly anymore.
So
Wait.
can't figure out.
Oh, pop.
Wait. There's your proof. There's your fat dad proof.
So
No, it doesn't. You certainly wouldn't make it now.
go look
You
it
wanna-
up
you
and
wanna
see.
see it?
Yeah. It's,
I'm looking at it now. They look like middle school age.
but like too young for
Yeah.
nowadays for it to be appropriate. Like,
Oh man. Yeah,
'Cause
this
I always
is
think-
inappropriate.
I was thinking like high school age. Like
Okay, hold
high
on.
school
I'm gonna
boys.
try and fire this up so we can watch
When you go
it.
too young, it's creepy.
It's kind of
Uh-huh.
creepy, dude. Yeah.
You go like 16 or older, I understand, but
And also,
go, like,
Van Halen is also
12.
in the classroom singing with a bunch of kids. It's weird.
Well, I mean, they can sing. They just have to be.
Yeah, but they're
fully-
oogling these
fully clothed.
quote unquote teachers while they're dancing in bikinis.
Yeah, that's not good.
It,
hold on. We're gonna watch some Hot for Teacher here. I just gotta get it set up. Hold on. Okay, here's a little Van Halen Hot for Teacher.
Might have to skip a little bit, like towards the middle for the classroom
I hope
situation.
you find some friends this year.
Oh my God,
it's like
long.
it's
A
like
long
1950s.
intro, yeah.
Here we go. I still like that drum beat.
Yeah, these kids are. How old are these
That
kids?
kid's
like,
way too young.
12 years old or something.
Yeah, I would say, between 11 and 13, maybe.
I guess
11 or 12, probably.
probably when they were filming this, they realized that they couldn't go too old with the kids because it wouldn't come off as well. I guess maybe
Yeah.
like you wanted to show like actual kids in school, and if you
Yeah,
had
but
like
if you had high school kids, I mean, that's when
You're right. Yeah,
guys
yeah,
are
yeah,
actually
yeah.
hot for the teacher, right?
well, no,
I mean, I'm sure middle school too,
Yeah, yeah.
but not where you're. I don't know. This seems.
Well, yeah. Well, in a rock music video, probably more appropriate to have high school kids as opposed to middle school kids. But like I said, different time. 90s, it was fun. They were like,
I didn't see
anything
any
goes.
of the the bikini
yeah, you got to
girls.
skip about halfway through.
Oh,
There we
okay.
go.
All right.
Here we
Here
go.
Well, at least it's not thongers, at
Keep
least
on
it's,
watching, buddy.
Oh,
I
all
saw
right.
one where she had a crop top on and no bra. Just
All
a
right.
white crop top.
All right. Okay, hold on. That one?
Yeah.
High side. It's a
Oh,
high side.
yeah.
Yeah, and I don't. Yeah, no, you wouldn't be making that now.
Old Van Halen.
No, that wouldn't happen. When
Um,
did this come out?
in the late 80s, 90s?
I don't even know, man. I would say
Hot
late.
for
I would say
teacher.
80s. Definitely 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Not
hair.
90s. Yeah.
I mean,
84.
Oh, yeah. That's early. 80s.
Yeah, Juan brings up an interesting point. He says videos like this are why parents hated MTV so much, right? And what's funny is I never really, in my house, like my dad would have been like, oh yeah, like hubba hubba, and my mom would have been like, oh God, Dan,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
boys are horrible, and then they would have turned the channel. That's about it. Like it wasn't really like
no one ever like cared or looked at what I was watching.
No,
like my mom
very
never
little,
paid attention.
very
to that.
little supervision.
Yeah. I just watch whatever.
Were you allowed to watch like whatever MTV and stuff you wanted? Like,
I didn't have cable as a child.
Oh.
So I watched PBS and,
PBS
When'd
is
you
good.
get cable?
when I was in like 9th grade.
So like high school, you actually.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That must have opened
Maybe
up your world.
late 8th grade.
We didn't
And
have
a phone.
No,
Never had a phone until I was in 8th grade.
I wasn't allowed a phone in my room.
No, I didn't have a phone at all
I
in our
was.
house.
A phone in your house? Yeah,
Yeah.
we had a phone just in case
Literally
of
no
emergency.
phone?
No.
I
I mean, there was one on the wall, but it only called 911.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah,
well, at
like
least you
wasn't
had
hooked
that.
up.
Right.
Oh, yeah, just emergency line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we never had that.
That's rough living.
Yeah, that's bad. But I remember
You got to run to the Fina gas station to call
to call
anybody.
somebody. We didn't have.
Oh,
We didn't have a.
friendly Fina.
Yeah.
I didn't have a stereo until like it was like those were like your staple gifts. Like having a TV in your room, like dear God, you know what I mean? Like that was you would ascended to a higher echelon if you were able to have the TV in your room. And I begged for the longest time, never had one. It took. I mean, I was upwards of high school before I got one in my room.
I had a TV in my room, like an old Zenith
Yeah,
tube.
the big tubes.
That we were a big fan of the TV stand, which was Tapcon bolted to the exterior wall because
Yeah.
the damn thing was 87 pounds.
Yeah, it's a
tube
100-pound TV. Yeah.
And it would sit on the black TV mounting plate
Big
with straps
plate.
on it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Put
And
some ratchet straps on it.
I think it had a VCR combo.
Oh, yeah.
Nice,
Connected to it.
The
fancy.
VCR combo for sure.
And then
don't tilt it too far; the tape will fall out though.
my stepdad got us all. I think a biker buddy of his got us all the hacked.
This
boxes.
here's Ironhead. Ironhead's got these hacked.
like-
He's got some hacks Sega Saturns.
They were like Pacific Atlantic boxes. Like, all right, you named your company the Two Oceans.
I remember this being
Stupid.
a thing. Yeah, and you could buy the Descrambler box.
Yeah, the Descrambler.
And you could put it on top of your other box, and you get,
Yeah.
hey man, you get all the channels, and hey, the kids around. You also get Playboy
And
and
Spice.
Spice.
Yes,
Spice,
Spice.
and hey, on
Yeah.
Spice Channel, they open them up.
Yeah. yeah. I got Playboy and Spice, and I
I
was
think that's
like,
an exact quote from Ironhead.
I was in middle school when I had it, so I was watching
Oh
Spice
my
in middle
God,
school.
no wonder you're the
You were hot for teachers.
And
Oh my God.
And like the Wizard and all my friends used to come over, and it blew their minds because they're
Can I
like,
go to
"You
your
got
room?
Spice?"
Can I go to your room for 20 minutes?
Oh yeah. We'd all be on the trampoline, like
People
playing,
just slip away.
and then we're like, "Where's the Wizard?" And then he'd go in there, and then the door would lock, but we go there quietly because we wanted to catch him whacking it.
Why? Guys are so weird.
Because we wanted to shame him, so we
we want to ruin his life.
we took a hanger, put it through it, like
Yep.
it was the old school where like
and it would just turn.
yeah, you push the hanger, you straighten the hanger, you push that through, and then it unlock the door, and you turn it, and then we bust in. And then he changed it quickly, like 2 channels up from
Well, you
Spice.
gotta hold your
was a
thumb
leather
on
t-
last.
Yep.
yeah.
You gotta hold your thumb on last, which is hard to do because you're doing things.
So he'd be on the top of the bunk bed, and all of a sudden they busted. We're like, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, "Nothing." And then he'd be like, "You're watching weather TV in my room. We're all outside, like you're
I'm a
You're
meteorologist.
hammer-handed." And then he'd be like, no. Like there was a time where you were embarrassed by that, like but then you would say everybody does it.
I think
but
I'd
you
be
don't wanna
more
caught.
embarrassed now.
No, not well now.
But now, like if I was
Oh, man.
out here, watching the fish tank or something,
Oh,
Weinsteining.
Well,
and
yeah,
I heard the door.
that's a crime.
Don't Louis
No,
C.K.
like
me,
if,
bro.
no, but if you guys are like coming in like that, it'd be more embarrassing as an adult
Oh, yeah,
than
yeah,
it
yeah.
would be
Well,
as
You
a
got caught.
child.
Well,
Yeah.
because like why this is a place of business, why you do it? But they do it, guys. They.
Oh yeah.
It's hard to get that out of
I
them.
remember when I'd have friends that would say like, "Yeah, I did that at work one time," and I'm like, "You did what?"
I think the majority of guys do it at work.
Yeah,
Have never done that one time.
yeah. It's if you
It's
if you had the opportunity,
Have
you
never
did
done that.
I've heard multiple
Have
multiple
never
men
done
tell
that.
me that.
I
Yeah.
swear to God on Maisie's life, never done that. Never wanted to do that.
Car rides, long car rides.
Never done that.
That seems interesting to me.
Never done it.
Yeah.
While you're driving,
And I
Yeah,
I
yeah.
am
How does-
also the
how does that end?
self-proclaimed horniest member of this program, and I just
Nothing.
can't. That's just not on my bingo card.
I mean, is it
can't.
hitting the steering wheel, the dash?
No,
Stop it.
No.
Okay,
I don't
easy.
I don't have that range.
Calm.
It's
Calm.
Wendy's napkin. or
No.
Come
whatever.
on, what are you doing?
Also, it's kind of a scumbag thing. So your car's a mess anyway. So who cares?
Oh my
what I'm saying? Like, Daniel's not into that because he keeps his cars pristine. But I mean, I
Well, not
used-
pristine. I just don't.
I
I
used to
just
have
don't.
garbage everywhere. I still do.
I don't keep my car pristine, but I don't masturbate in my car.
Yeah. Well,
Just as a rule.
you do keep your car pristine.
Well, but inside, no, there's
yeah.
some dirt in there now. I mean, it's not perfect, but there's certain things I don't do in my car. I don't eat. I don't.
It's as close to perfect
It's just things I don't do in there.
as a car.
It's a car.
that
It's-
someone uses can be.
It's meant to
I've never seen your car
drive.
dirty at all.
It's not meant to do that in. It's certainly not meant to do that in.
Yeah.
There's a million other places to do that. This one we're probably gonna have to edit, but I thought it was funny, and he talked about ACT, so here we go.
All right, so Dan is talking about how his dad used to dust his French fries with Wendy's salt.
Yeah, just real quick, the salt packages at Wendy's, pardon me, are different than the ones that you would get anywhere else. I think maybe Burger King had the same style packet. It was the 2 little tubes side by side, and
Yep.
in order to open it, you'd crack it. and then it would open, and then you could, pinch off one and just use one, or you could use both, and my dad would use both. But the Wendy's salt was like almost a powder.
Yeah.
Like a finely ground salt.
And I used to work at a fast food restaurant. I'm not going to say which one. It was Hardee's. And I just got to thinking, or I remember some stories about fucking working there. It was funny as shit. Never fucked with anyone's food. I never spit in anyone's food. No one I knew ever did that. That was just like a line you wouldn't cross. However, Hardee's does serve burgers in a box container. Now, if you were an asshole in the drive-thru, I would grab your box burger and I would shake the shit out of it before I put it in the bag. And your French fries, I would put so much salt on your fucking French fries that you couldn't eat them. So I never fucked with your food, but you got a goddamn mess if you were rude in the drive-thru. And
No, but you did.
Right.
Well, I guess he's saying he never did anything like put bodily fluids in it or just put
Or
extra
hair.
salt.
I think this is gonna be a hot take on a Thursday, but I'd almost rather you put the fluids in there and leave my burger intact.
No, well,
Because I'll
no,
never
no.
know. Out of sight, out of mind. If you don't look at it, it's not there. Power through.
Yeah, the
7 curses in that.
Yeah, that's
Being-
a tough one.
being extra
That's a tough one.
being a D-head to someone at a fast food place or any restaurant, I never understood that person. I was just like, man, you are taking a gamble that these people are not going to mess with your food because what do they got to lose? Their job?
Right.
They hate their job. Like, so you're
They'll just
Yeah.
go next door to the next fast food place.
yeah. And most likely, they're going to do something that's not so obvious you don't realize, so they won't get fired. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll hide it so it makes it worse for you because you're going to eat their, pubes.
No other way to say it. You're going to eat the pubes.
I was going to say eat their pee, but I was like, I can't.
You can't say that. It's easier to say eat the pubes. Yeah, you just got to.
I'm just saying. I was like, wait, what's in it for you? Because is the satisfaction of yelling at these people worth?
Also, I feel like
the pubes?
it's harder.
No.
I feel like it's harder to go to the bathroom with a pair of scissors you stole out of your manager's office than it is just to accept the fact that people are going to be mean at times and just, carry on.
Oh, what, the employee?
Yeah, I mean,
the employee just wants immediate revenge for the person being a D-head.
but you don't really see the revenge.
No. It's just in your mind. You fantasize about it later. You're like, I see him over there hiding under that tree, shame eating this. These.
Well, they
pew
do that.
burger I
They
gave him.
do that thing where you make the pew burger, you hand it to him.
Yeah.
Then the guy pulls it to like a handicap spot. Then he hands it over to his, his mother on a respirator, on oxygen, and
you're like, oh no!
Don't eat it, Granny.
And you're like,
she made him so by proxy.
You justify it, or you don't care because you're just like, I hate my life, I hate this job, I hate you.
Or there is one more outlier. Or you think it's funnier that he hands the burger to the old lady because you're just a real POS, right?
Yeah. People forget fast about how miserable you are in retail jobs and fast food jobs and all, some people like them and it's fine, but the vast majority of people don't want to be working there,
Right.
and are miserable.
Yeah.
So it's like when you are an a-hole to them, you're taking a gamble there.
Something that I've noticed at fast food restaurants that I don't know if you guys have noticed. Do you watch the people making the food? When you're if you go inside to get it,
if you're inside, I haven't gone inside a fast
Yeah,
food
yeah,
place
yeah.
in a while.
I
don't go inside.
Yeah, it hasn't been. I mean, I haven't had fast food in forever just because of COVID and everything going on. But I used to if you'd go in, because Andrea kind of got me in a routine of, not really a routine. We don't eat a lot of fast food, but if we have to go in, sometimes rather than even going to the line, it's just easier to park, run in, get it, and get out. Sometimes you can be astronomically faster, right? So you go in. And every person that I would see making my food, I could kind of tell that they don't want to be there because they're constantly reading what they have to do. which means that there's literally no engagement. Like they're not involved in it whatsoever. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
a career, it's a job.
Yeah.
So they read it's usually a laminated chart telling you like what garbage
Yeah,
goes
the
on
steps.
what
Yeah,
garbage food.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you put this, you put it's like let's say like the Popeye sandwich. It's like toasted bun, ton of mayonnaise, put the thing on, lettuce, put the thing, wrap it,
You
mark
know-
it with the marker. And it's like, it's just, sometimes when I see them making it, I'm like, how do you not remember that?
Well, that was new. That was a new product.
No, I mean like anything. Like I see a guy that I've seen at Taco Bell 100 times. He's still looking at the sheet to put
Yeah,
the
yeah.
sour cream in.
Well, he might be just looking at what's next to get in the order.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, they probably beat that into them where it's like, don't.
Make sure you do
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Don't screw it
like,
up.
Yeah. It's probably just the manager and the corporate training of like telling the employees because at that point they've got such protocol with like
Because
chain
people get
fast
crazy
food.
about their food.
They're just like follow the exact steps. Do not
Right.
vary from this. And then the people that are not looking like I know how to do this. Like nope, you look at it. like,
Also, special orders. You never know. Someone could be like,
Yeah.
no ketchup on this one. So they got to
Yeah.
make sure, like, oh, I don't
Yeah.
want to,
We-
allergies and all that.
I'd like to talk to someone
It sounds stressful as all hell.
oh, yeah. I would never want to do it.
that
I
likes.
worked at Subway and it was terrible.
That's why I'm super nice
Yeah,
to the
yeah,
people that make my food. Just be nice to them.
I want to find people out there that actually like the jobs that the rest of us hate. You know what I'm saying? Or like they like and enjoy these jobs that are stereotypically horrible for the rest of us. Or we like bag on. We're like, oh man, that's.
But do
you
we
know,
all have one that we would opt into? Do we all have one job that we like, but that other people would say they hate?
Well, I've said for years I'd love to be a pressure washer where I just listen to podcasts and I just pressure wash Baldwin Park sidewalks all day. That would be fine with me. And other people will probably, I'm sure the guy doing it would tell me that this is horrible.
I say the same
You know.
thing about the lawnmower.
And
But
I say
you
that
guys know
after 2 days I'd be miserable.
I like to be hot, and riding lawnmowers are cool.
Yeah. So I'm sure everybody has a job that they. Maybe you think you'd like it, but after a week you hate it. You know,
I
Yeah.
thought I'd like this job.
It all just
Well,
turns
that one
into
hurts.
work.
That cuts deep.
Yeah. But I bet you there's like like every once in a while when I worked at Champ Sports, like there would be a person that was happy every day and never complained.
Yeah,
and
those people are weird to
and
me.
then it was like, you don't hate this? Why aren't
Yeah.
you miserable like the rest of us? Like we're all bitching about the same thing. We all hate our boss.
I feel like
and-
those people are like lonely people. So this is like their interaction.
Is that?
I don't know.
Or they're just
No,
I can't figure
more
it out.
happy than the rest of
I
us.
got a
Like,
lady. I went
Some
through
people
to,
are just naturally happy. I'm jealous of that.
I went through to get like a McDonald's breakfast or something in the.
Oh, every once in a while you get a cheery.
Oh my
fast
God,
food.
so nice. Like
Yeah.
overly, the lady up here, the new one, they just remodeled. I went through there to get something for the family, and the lady was like the nicest human being you'd ever want
It
to meet.
does make it better.
It does make
because
it better.
I make the joke that I want them to be miserable because that's where it falls in my in my box of like, hey, you should be miserable. I do this like if you're nice and happy, there's a weird. But it's always better when they're nice because when they are miserable, you feel like bad about the whole transaction. It's
Yeah.
just like, oh God,
You
I'm
absolutely
adding
do.
to their misery.
Yeah, we got to take a quick break.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're
Yeah.
late. We'll take a quick one. We'll come back and we'll just continue. You're listening to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha, our producer's here. Let's do some voicemails. Here's a quick one talking about Pyro Spots.
I love the fact that byebyefingers.com is still a website for PyroSpot.
Yeah, I mean it is both cool and disrespectful that
Yeah.
that's still a website. But yeah, go and ask for the Bye Bye Fingers pack.
Yeah. Craig, he doesn't take himself too seriously. You know, it's
Supposed to be fun, and he also will give you the absolute best safety rundown ever.
Yeah. He
he's,
wants everybody safe, but he understands
tongue in
the
cheek.
joke
Tongue
of
in
it.
cheek.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Hey guys, I'm listening to ACP and you're talking about getting dirt delivered to your house. And then Daniel mentioned that he was his father built him a playhouse on stilts with a sandbox underneath. My father built the same exact thing for my brother and I, and within 24 hours, like dickheads, we dug through the nice bleached sand into the black dirt underneath, mixed it all together, and completely ruined it. He liked to kill us for doing that, but that's typical me and my brother. That's why we can't have nice things. We just destroy stuff. But anyways, thought that was funny. Take care.
Huh. There you
Kids
go.
are the worst.
They are. I think I did exactly the same thing. I may have done exactly the same thing.
Of course you did. You're a kid.
You dig all the way down. Well, no, it was my dad's fault. He should have put down some of that, like, weed guard, or you dig it out. Then you lay a tarp or something to stop weed growth in the ground dirt, and then you lay the good dirt on top of it, so you have an area like a barrier.
It's become apparent to me that, and this is probably apparent to everybody else, but I used to remember that adults were smarter than they actually are. I thought that if you were an adult, especially if like you had like gray beard and gray hair, like I was like, well, that guy's obviously
He's wise.
super smart. Then
They do that in every show on television. The guy who's old is the old patriarch, the wizard. Even on like shows like Ben and Holly, like a cartoon, they have the wise old elf. He's the old guy.
So, but now I realize that it's not, you don't become more intelligent. It's just experience as you get older, and you just have experienced more than the younger person, which makes sense. You live longer. And then with that experience, hopefully it teaches you not to do things you've learned that this will end poorly for you. This will be bad,
Yeah.
And so that's where adults have the upper hand, is just they have more experience. Not that they're more intelligent.
No.
So you could be more intelligent than an adult. It's just most likely they just have more experience than you. And that's what I failed to realize when I was like 20 and I'm looking at older guys. And
Yeah, I could see
I'd be
that.
like, this guy's an idiot.
Yeah.
But he was, what he was talking about, he just had experience in.
But Pirate 159 in our Twitch chat room says wisdom. I agree with it. Yeah, wisdom.
It's not the case with everybody, believe me. But
Yeah,
it's just you've gone through more. So it's like, I remember being a kid and I just climbed up my tree where my sand pile was under, and I got a saw and I just started sawing off.
The limb you're standing on? Because I was going to say you're doing that right now with our company. We are literally on the limb and you're standing on it and sawing.
It was just like it was probably a 1.5 feet, 18 inches in diameter limb that came out, and I just started sawing it. And it took me all afternoon, and then finally I sawed enough where it cracked off and fell, and a huge limb fell into my yard. And then I was like, why did I do that? And like immediately scared out of my mind when my dad was going to get home, and I
God.
sawed this giant limb off.
Especially if it
And then my
fell
mom's
in
like,
his car.
Why'd you do that? Yeah, it was like, why'd you do this? And like now we have to like cut this up and put it out.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, it's a lot of work for your dad.
and I'm like, I don't know. I just started sawing.
Oh,
my
you used
God,
to be
you're
a chopper.
You used to be a chopper, but you are a sawer, which isn't as severe. Choppers are,
And
they're
like,
gone.
Kids do dumbass s for
Yeah.
no reason.
They like to destroy things.
The
Yeah,
only
it's
thing
like,
that I
why'd you do
did,
destroy your lives.
the only thing that I did that counters that is I was so mad at my dad for grounding me for something. I was real mad. I was doing my homework, and I was writing with one of those. I know both of you guys will know exactly the Bic pen. It's clear. It has a little blue plug that goes in the back. You could pull the little blue plug out and chew it. Or you could chew the cap. It had a blue cap, completely detachable. It was a ballpoint pen.
Yeah.
And I was mad. My dad grounded me for something. And I was trying to make a point, and I was yelling at him, and he was yelling at me. And I remember he's standing at the door. And I was trying to make a point, and I stabbed the pen into the carpet.
Yeah.
And when I stabbed it into the carpet, and he shut the door as I stabbed it, because, he's like, I'm done here. We're not talking about it, Dan Lee. We're done. Go, slams the door. I stabbed the pen. I pushed the ball from the ballpoint all the way into the pen, and all the ink just started leaking out, and it made a puddle in the carpet, which, by the way, was about 3 days old, this carpet. And it made a puddle about the size of
I
get
would've
that out.
like a
been
beer
beat so
coaster.
bad.
Yeah, like a beer coaster. Oh, my God. Well, if my dad hadn't had a decent wrangling on his temper, I probably would have been killed. But yeah, that was real bad. I got grounded for a really long time, and I remember the guy came, and my dad made me sit with the carpenter or the carpet man that came out to repair it, and I just sit with him, and then my dad made me pay him with my money for the repair. That whole deal.
Yeah.
Oh, God, it was embarrassing, man. Like, whenever they made me do that, that was worse than even, like, anything else they could have done to me. I think it actually worked as far as parenting goes. Like, was like literally mortifying to have to pay that guy. And then,
Because be like, I was the idiot that
yeah,
destroyed
and he
this.
knew.
Yeah.
Like my dad, and my dad would do that. Not passive aggressive. It's like aggressive. You know, we just say, "Yeah, this guy, my son is the one, and he'll be paying." He's walking the carpet man through the whole thing.
Carpet Man's like, I don't care. I'm just trying to fix
he
this
does
and get
it, but
paid.
I don't know that as a kid.
I know, yeah,
you know,
of
so
course.
to me, it's just like I'm having to stand there for 45 minutes and be embarrassed for a full 45. Oh, bad. But I never did anything like that again.
Yeah. I'm starting to realize that's probably why I do the same thing, never learn my lesson. I never had any repercussions. I was thinking, I've never been grounded.
Oh my God.
Never had detention.
I don't think
never-
I was ever not grounded.
Never been in jail.
Never
Never had any repercussions from anybody about just
Wow.
just general life. Because beating me down
Yeah.
for bad mistakes, but never been grounded when I was a kid.
Oh God, I got grounded a lot. And there were varying degrees of grounding. You know, there was grounding, but you're grounded from doing anything with your, school activities, but you can go see Dave because I know he won't get you into trouble. Stuff like that. You know, it's like, or the worst one was just full on, like a COVID lockdown. Don't leave the house. Terrible. Let's try.
We got an option if we got in trouble. You either stay in the house the rest of the day, or you could take a beating and then you get to go out and play.
Oh my
you
God,
take
that's
the
just like
beating?
that's like a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, you always take the beating. That's way
I didn't take
easier.
the beating.
No?
If I had
Yeah.
the choice, sometimes you don't have the choice. You just get the beating.
I
But
do
if I had
remember-
the choice, I'm like, I'll watch some MASH.
I do remember spankings when I realized that spankings don't really hurt.
Oh.
And I didn't get a lot of them, but I remember that I could, or I could endure them, like endure the spanking. So I would take it, and I would have to you got to play it up a little bit
Okay.
because you didn't want them to think that it didn't have any effect.
Yeah, I got you.
This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
really depressing.
Yeah.
Let's try this one.
Hey guys, Bubble Bath Billy here. We have all heard the stories of the stereotypical radio wars between two stations, and half the time, who knows if they're fake or if they're real. But I was curious if you guys have experienced any listener wars throughout your careers. So, for example, maybe Manny Wetmouth calls in and leaves a voicemail, and he's like, "Zach from Ohio, we get it, dude. You're a plumber and you like to put stuff in your butt. Coincidence? I think not." And then Zach gets mad and he calls back in and he tells Manny his voicemails are too wet and he needs to put some cotton in his mouth before he leaves a voicemail, or some stupid stuff like that.
Now, I don't think we ever have callers fight, right?
Well,
They may
yes.
not like each
people
other. We
would
don't
give
know.
jabs and be like about Zach from Ohio calling too much.
but
EJ.
EJ and Josh from Canadian
Canadian
Josh,
Josh.
so they got a little. Okay,
Yeah.
I can kind of see what you're saying.
It just
light,
we don't care.
Razzing. It's a light razzing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like what is I don't care if any of the listeners don't like each other or
Yeah.
do it. Like, is that better for entertainment if you
Yeah.
don't?
It's up to you.
You know,
you can
like-
call in and fight with each other. That's fine.
yeah. But it's an odd question, Bubble Bath Billy.
Yeah. Well, when
why did you
when
wonder
all
that?
you do is take bubble baths and smoke weed all day, then some pretty odd
Yeah.
questions. This one's odd too, but it's something you talked about, Tom.
So you guys are talking about land crabs, and the big land crab migrations that Tom was describing happens in some islands. I grew up in Stuart, Florida, and we had that. It only happened maybe 2 times when I was a kid, but it was bizarre. My parents bought this house outside of town on a few acres of land, and apparently the previous owners, when these migrations would happen, would leave the front and back door of the house open and just let the crabs go through the house, like in the back door and out the front door, which we learned because during one of these migration events where these crabs were literally everywhere, just like you were talking about, Tom, slowly crossing the road, having to drive over them, worried about popping your tires on their claws because there's no way to avoid them. They would literally pile up on the back door. Not on the back of the house, not on the walls, but specifically on the back door. And if one got inside the house, it would be scratching at the front door, the inside of the front door, to get out. And it was bizarre. And I was maybe 11 or 12 years old, and my sister was 8. We had the great idea to see if people wanted to buy these crabs to eat them, because they're crabs, right? So we got a bucket and we caught as many as we could and got the fuck pinched out of our fingers and whatnot. But got them into this bucket, made a sign, crabs for sale. I forget how much we were even trying to sell them for. We went out to the road, and of course nobody wanted these freaking crabs. Because one, if you wanted them, you could just pick them up yourself. So that was a great business move. But two, they were nasty land crabs. Nobody wanted to eat them in the first place. Anyway, sucking fat titties.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah, those crab migrations are creepy. Also, who is the weirdo that lets them walk through their house?
I have no idea.
That is bizarre.
I think I've seen that before. And was he alluding to the fact that they would leave the doors open because they didn't want them piling up on the back?
I think so.
And would they start to stink? Would they die? Why can't you just put up, like, if they're how wide is the migration?
I think it's the whole island. Like,
because if it were me, I would just stay out there with a golf club, and I would just get to chopping.
Well, they'll go on to the other side of the island or whatever.
Or if I put up like a barrier, like if I put up like I don't know,
a small little fence, though.
Yeah, or
go
like
around
even
there.
like a refrigerator box, right?
Yeah. I guess if you live there, it becomes the annual thing, and then you have like. You make some sort of holiday around it.
Yeah,
and you
you're
all
eating
get
hot
together.
dogs with your family.
You get drunk. It's all
it's
all
crab day.
Yeah. And then you have some barbecue and you get wasted and watch the crabs.
You're
go
out there
through.
dancing to some Kenny Chesney.
But creepy because they're very insect-like.
Yeah.
So it's not.
Why couldn't you eat a land crab?
I don't know.
Why?
Tougher meat, man.
Why?
You probably could. I learned this from the movie Castaway that unless you cook the crab legs, like it's just it's like a slime inside.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's what the meat is. It's not.
So the slime turns to meat?
Yeah. They remember there's that scene where Tom Hanks like catches a crab and he's starving and he immediately breaks his legs off, thinking that there's going to be meat inside, and it just drips out.
But let me ask you something
he
about
has to
that.
cook it to turn it into sweet crab meat.
Okay, based on that, it's almost like what you're describing as an egg. So if I break a live crab's legs off, break his legs, pour them into a cup, and then put it in the microwave, will it cook to the consistency of a crab leg?
That's a good question. Don't know. I don't even know if that movie's accurate. I just remember that scene.
Sam, look up raw crab legs, what they look like inside without the shell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I would imagine that a chef or a culinary expert would have been manipulating the shape of crab legs into whatever they want if it were actually like some sort of goo that then solidifies. There's always that long stripe in the center. There's like a hard stripe, like a long,
what is that?
like a bone piece or a cartilage piece or a
Yeah.
shell piece, ectoskeleton, something like that. Exoskeleton.
Because I don't even know what the meat exactly is. Is it just a fat source for the animal, or it's not muscle?
No
right?
idea.
Because I have no.
There's a lot of crab misinformation. I feel like we're really getting it wrong. Right?
Last week it was snails. Now we're on to crabs.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not really finding any.
I don't
visuals
think
of this.
I mean, like, I really don't think that it's.
Tuna Bat is saying it's a mucus.
Oh, gross!
Yeah.
No,
he said it's a muscle.
It's a muscle. You need glasses, Pop.
Oh,
Pop.
I can't see.
Pop.
Tuna Daddy, I thought caps
Pop.
only.
Yeah, Tuna Daddy says it's a mucus. Pop, put your glasses on. He said it's a muscle.
Oh, but is it liquid? Like, what's that scene in Castaway where he goes to eat the crab leg and it's like liquid pours out, and that's what I was like. Oh,
is it just water inside the crab?
Yeah, because I think it has to be cooked. I believe it's not like sushi.
I don't know anything about crab legs.
Like fish meat, you could eat raw. Sushi, obviously, so it doesn't have to be cooked. You cook it, it turns into different
Molted
consistency.
crabs will often contain mostly liquid or a jelly mass with little edible flesh.
And then when you cook it, that's where it becomes the white crab meat that we recognize, right?
I think you're right. Yeah.
So it's like a gelatin type of deal.
I'm trying to find just like what raw crab meat would look like, and I cannot find it.
There was that scene in Castaway, like, so that told me that that's what they were trying to get across, like that this thing has to be.
So
cooked
it doesn't
before they
look
eat it.
like this. I've got a picture up there. See, like that's cooked.
So I guess
don't
it's
know.
the
Maybe it depends on the crab.
What type of
the-
crab?
and
Sure.
also the like how old the crab is.
Ah.
So if it's still a molting crab, I guess it's before its muscles like harden.
Ah.
So it's
That's
Okay.
accurate.
gelatin.
Yeah, he would have.
So
He
he
wouldn't
caught
have
a baby
known.
crab,
Yeah, he
yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
have known. He caught an easy crab to get, baby crab,
Yeah.
and it wouldn't have been.
So if you catch like some Alaskan king crab, right, and you break its legs off live, it's meat inside that, right?
I think so. Yes.
And then, but can you eat it raw?
Probably. It's not going to taste as good, but you probably can. Yeah, I don't know why you
Okay.
couldn't. You can eat
But
any protein raw, right?
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
you'll get nutrients from it. You just got to worry about it possibly having some sort
Worms
of a
or- yeah, yeah.
disease
like
or worm. or
red
some-
meat
Yeah.
has worms or like
Yeah.
wild animals.
But like
Caribou has a-
I've seen tons of fishermen, whether it be just like a tiny fish they catch, like on a survival show, or they're just like tuna and they're just eating raw fish.
yeah.
Like,
But you never hear about raw crab meat.
You don't.
Like it's
You
not on
don't.
a sushi menu because even like
I think we stumble upon these questions that I know a lot of you driving around right now are like, these guys are idiots, but you don't know. You don't.
Yeah.
You're gonna act like you know, but you don't know. You're just sitting there high and mighty. You know.
Can you search
Tom
on
and
it?
Dan are
Can you
idiots.
eat raw crab meat? Is like
I've never heard of that.
I've never heard it served. And
Wait, what about the meat that's in like a Subway crab sub?
That's not crab.
It is imitation
Crab
crab
with a K.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see.
It's gotta be. I'm thinking. I think Tom is right. It depends on the type of crab.
Old Gray Seasons.
Grady.
Okay,
Seasons.
I can't
Oh,
see.
man. Oh, Pop.
I know it's a movie, but I assumed that they filmed it for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Like they had that scene in there to depict the fact that old Tom Cruise didn't, or Tom,
Old Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise was in
God damn
Castaway?
it, Tom Hanks didn't know that a baby crab you can't just break its legs off and eat it raw.
So you can eat raw crab,
Okay.
but it says it's important to check the raw crab meat to make sure it is fit for eating before you add it to any of your dishes.
How do you know it's fit?
That's a great question. Step 1, pick up the crab and smell it. Raw crab that is fresh will not smell at all or will have a faintly sweet odor. Step
Okay.
2, check the color of the raw crab meat. Raw crab meat should have a pure white flesh with a bright red rind where the flesh meets the shell.
Okay.
Step 3, touch the crab to see how it feels. Fresh raw crab meat will feel moist to the touch, but not slimy.
It'll feel just like a prostate.
Rub your fingers together to see if you can detect a mucousy film on the crab. Dry crab can also be a sign that the raw crab meat was not stored properly and has gone bad. 4, purchase your crabs live so you know exactly how fresh they are. Step 5, check to see how the crab meat was stored.
This is a lot
Yeah.
of checking
Well,
steps.
Well,
Because
so
I guess you could get real sick if it's not
well,
good.
well, so you get real sick if you eat something that's not good at any
Yeah,
point.
I mean, if I go out and eat roadkill deer,
yeah.
Right.
there's a high probability I'm going to get sick.
So cooking it must make it more tasty. That's why we don't hear people eating it raw. You know, like
I think
sushi, people like you like the taste of fresh sushi. Some
Yeah,
people
yeah.
prefer it overcooked. But crab meat must not be the same case. You know, it's like no one is like, oh, fresh crab meat uncooked
Yeah.
is the best. You know, that
Which
must
is
not be a
weird to
thing.
me, though, because conch people eat raw all the
Yeah,
time.
and salads,
Oysters
yeah.
are raw.
And I would
Yeah, yeah.
imagine that, see, just like any other dum-dum, I look at sea creatures and I'm like, well, they're all slightly related, right? Because
Yeah.
they're sea creatures. So,
Yeah.
like, you eat
Conch meat is
you
not
had it.
that different than crab meat.
It can't be that, but it probably is, right? If you're looking at him, conch would be more like a snail. Crab is a crustacean. He's an insect. Not even similar not even close.
So I guess it also depends on your culture, right? So in Korea, it's very popular.
Raw crab?
To eat raw crab.
And I love Korean food.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they eat a lot of.
Yeah, you've had some
raw
real
minnows and things like
Yeah.
that. I went to this Korean
Bunch of
place right
tiny-
over here in Mills.
Bunch of tiny dishes.
Yeah,
right?
little bowls of like a Temple of
potions.
Doom. I was thinking like
Oh, so
little
like dim sum?
minnows, rotten
bunch of little potions.
things. Yeah. Then like a
Smoke.
boiling stew in the middle. They like put it in the stew. I'm like, this is gross.
So it was like Korean dim sum. See, I went to a traditional Chinese restaurant
What? I'm sorry.
in Boston, and it was the first time I'd ever had dim sum, and I was like, I just started eating things I didn't know what the hell it was.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't speak English, and I'm just pointing at baskets full of weird foods.
Yeah.
Oh, dim sum's amazing.
Yeah. It was fine. It was
wasn't
just,
great for me.
Well, you don't like. You're not. I would say out of all of us on the show, you're probably the more traditional Americana.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Like you're not a seafood gal. You're
Yeah.
like,
But I'll try everything once.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you'll try stuff, but you're not like in your normal diet. You're not, getting like sushi and
Yeah, yeah.
like a pho bowl or anything like that.
I'll eat pho. As long as there's not seafood in
Well,
it.
like not like Andrea. When Andrea eats
Was it
pho,
just-
it's like literally like going to the middle of Vietnam.
Ah,
It's like a squid man, and the noodles are. I don't even know what they're made out of. They don't even look like noodles.
yeah. It's like you're eating things out of Aquaman's utility belt.
Yeah, exactly.
like, what
Don't
is
eat
it?
that.
It's like that's how I was hook at it.
Oh my
Yeah, it's a slimy beak.
Aquaman's
Oh.
utility belt.
You're like, what do you scrape that
Hand
under
me
your
my.
dock?
Hand me my. I need my needle nose pliers. Oh wait, you ate my squid beak?
Yeah.
Gotta get a different tool.
Yeah. There's I like seafood, but there's different levels. Like once you get into the octopus and the beaks, I'm out.
Yeah, it can get a little crazy.
You're like, this is a snot
I think-
rocket on a beak.
So,
It's like, all right,
Samantha's
it's
are like
gross.
varying degrees because I know you're not much of you like seafood, but you're also not much of a seafoodman.
Yeah,
like
I like
Samantha
fish, crab,
I feel
lobster.
like is a no seafood gal.
I'll
we
eat
know
shrimp.
that. Shrimp, I don't think that counts. And then
Okay.
you're more like a good old American Captain D's.
Yeah.
Fried fish, fish fry, catfish.
Yeah, all that.
Yeah, shrimp, boiled shrimp, shrimp boil.
Every fish, every crab,
Yeah, all
every
that.
shrimp,
Tuna.
I'll even venture out into
Poke bowl.
some oysters. Maybe I don't. I mean,
Yeah.
I won't be like I'm like a baby,
Yeah,
but
it's
I'll
just
like,
not your thing.
I'll put some Tabasco and some hot sauce, and I'll eat some oysters. But
And I think I'm a little bit above that, where I
Yeah.
eat a lot more seafood, and then I don't even know about Butler. I feel like Butler'd be in the category of my wife, where he just eat it all.
He
Yeah.
eats everything.
Yeah, I think he eats the BH everything.
yeah, he's a chop eater. Maybe
Butler,
not.
you eat it all, right?
He eats that cat food bowl.
Yeah.
And
He can
and-
gag anything.
And
down.
he's happy about it.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he's skipping through the studio eating that garbage.
we gotta go.
We gotta go.
All right, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. I totally didn't mean to do that. Like you were about to take a sip of your drink,
No,
and I didn't mean to hit that.
No,
So
no.
you take your drink sip.
No,
We'll both take
I
a sip.
want it.
Hold on, we'll both
Okay.
take a sip. Here we go.
How cute.
New merch on TomandDan.com. Go check it out. Women's shirts. We got some 90s men's tank tops. Women can wear them too. They're pink. Eric Pabon did the art, and we got an Tom on Dan shirt by Eric Pabon as well.
In a colorway we've never offered before, so check it out.
And a ton of charity masks that Enemy Inc. makes us. They're $1 a piece, and we're giving all the money to Yellow Brick Road. So if you want one of those, they're on there as well. I ordered a bunch this time, although I think I have to order more because
they go really fast.
I think 300 or so ordered. I
Yeah.
ordered 700. So
well, they're nice to keep in your car. Like I got 2 in my glove box for me, Maisie, Andrea. It's always nice to have a couple because, like, even this morning,
there's like a t-shirt cloth. That
light.
has ear. It's whatever.
Yeah, it's got these little slits, and you just kind of tuck your ears in there, and away you go. And you can wash it, you can reuse it, you can throw it away, you can do whatever you want to with it.
Yeah.
Afterwards, I like to actually take mine, and I'm making a quilt for a mouse.
But you're right. Put them in your wallet, so when you go to a place and then
You'll never be turned away.
Yeah,
Yeah. Don't be a D-head. Everybody just calm down. It's fine. You tuck the little cloth mask in your wallet. You get to the Home Depot. They're like, sir, excuse me, you got to wear a mask. Rather than be the D-head, you put the mask on, you go in about your day.
Yeah,
There you go.
If the business is asking you to put it on, like just
put
be
on your mask.
respectful to them. That's what I think.
Yeah.
It's like, all right,
Just do it.
If
Just
the business is
be
asking,
cool.
us.
do it.
Be cool, bro. Yes, Sam. First email.
Oh, okay. This is called Home Game. I've started watching the new series Home Game on Netflix, and I think it's something all 3 of you can enjoy. It's unique games and sports played by different countries, such as an Italian rugby-like game that has no rules. It turns into a huge bare-knuckle brawl with a ball involved, a little. There's another game played in Asia somewhere that is buffalo mud drag racing, where people tie 2 buffaloes to a small platform and race head-to-head through a mud pit. It's all around informative and a quick half-hour episode.
Buffalo drag racing sounds
enjoy.
amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Can I Google that, or is this
I'm
horrible
sure.
animal abuse?
I've seen the first game. What was it called?
He said an Italian rugby type game that has no rules, and then it turns into a huge bare knuckle brawl with a ball involved.
Yes, I saw
I mean, that's
that.
rugby, right?
This is like rugby in a third world country where the rules are not really written.
Yeah.
I saw it on Netflix. There's a bunch of dudes throwing around like a rugby
so
ball.
you may have watched this then.
Well, I just saw the trailer or whatever. You know, on Netflix when you click over the show and it just starts playing it.
Oh man, this buffalo racing is no joke.
Is it called Calcio Storico?
Mine's called.
This is the Italian rugby game I'm looking at.
like I'm looking at the buffalo racing's in India, I believe, and it's Karnataka.
So they just take 2 buffalo, similar to what they do out at Muddy Gras or down in Holopal.
This looks awesome.
Where they put some
guy's
snorkels
ripped.
on a Polaris and.
Well, you run with buffalo and see how ripped you get, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like that guy's a super athlete.
Yeah.
He has to keep up with these wildebeests.
Well, also, he's genetically gifted, and then probably just all he does is work all day.
Also, this also looks though like he might be top tier. In the sport, you know what I mean? Like, cause look, his buffalo are all adorned with like a headdress and crazy, stuff all over him. Like he's got a whole like a pomp and circumstance with his.
Yeah, this
Are they pulling the buffalo with a pole? Like what? How does it work?
I think they're probably gently prodding it with.
It looks like a
hurling it.
whipping scenario or a they're
not a
scared
fan.
out of their mind. I mean, they're.
I've got a clip.
Some of these places they got
Here.
They got more things to worry about
There they go.
than how comfortable these animals are.
Look at them go.
They're all
Oh yeah, they're whipping them in the butt. That's
ultra
not
poor. Cool. The different culture. Like these are
What's
are
keeping them from turning around and just?
Well, they're
stabbing
scared
each
out
other?
of their minds. I mean, like,
yeah.
Normally, when you're being whipped in your ass with a pointy stick, you don't turn around and face the pointy stick. You
you're just
run
running.
for your lives.
Yeah.
Look how terrified the buffalo
This is
are.
awful.
Yeah. Like I said, it's a different culture.
Yeah.
Well, we still have horse races here.
These animals, they live a hard life, and their owners.
This
a
is
hard
the
life
best
too.
part of their life, though. Is is being whipped by the mud
Oh,
man.
good. That guy fell in the mud. You deserve it, sir.
Oh yeah, like you got all these people. They're wearing like PacSun board shorts as they do this too.
It just goes to show you that we're all, as human beings, the same, because this is exactly the same.
It's
just-
NASCAR.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
That one buffalo had a number 3 spray painted on the side of it. Did you see it?
If you put some redneck chicks with some Mardi Gras beads showing their tees on a Polaris, same thing.
No, it's
in the
exactly the
background,
same,
You just
yeah.
replace a Polaris with a snorkel with these buffalo, and there's still a crowd watching.
Actually, the buffalo is
getting
more
drunk,
impressive to me, but yeah.
getting drunk and watching people do dumbass. in
One's
mud.
drinking Miller Lite, the other's drinking homemade wine. There's really no difference.
I do miss, for instance, when I used to go to Croom Forest way more, or when I go there every Thanksgiving, you'll run across this scenario. So you'll get to, let's say, there's a lot of washed out hills and cliffs there. Where people will ride their dirt bikes and 4-wheelers up. It'll be like a 20-foot cliff, seemingly vertical, and then you'll come across it, and there'll be people trying to go up it. So then a crowd will gather, and then you'll just sit there and watch as one by one someone tries to go up the cliff, crashing their bike or whatever, and then it's entertainment.
Yeah, they do it with Jeeps.
Yeah, and then that spurs other contestants to try to do it. There's no money involved. There's
it's an
no
ego
prize.
thing. It's fun. It's fun.
And really, it's just the person trying, because now that the crowd has formed, then participants want to impress the crowd and try it themselves. And this is what a crowd forms, and there's like, look at these guys trying to do this thing. and then you just sit there and watch after person, they fall and muddy.
I do like crazy sports though, and these type of shows, like whether it's Australian football, rugby, darts, bowling,
any obscure
pool, snooker. I think is a version of pool. Like all those, if they're on, I will watch them. I was watching. They've been doing replays since there's really nothing going on. They've been doing replays of X Games. I will. Man, that's almost like kryptonite to me. If X Games is on the TV, I almost can't do anything else in the house. Like I find myself I just sit and I just watch it.
But you know what? If you go back and deep dive into 90s X Games, that's where it's awesome because then every once in a while, like they started throwing in like bungee jumping. And
like crazy stuff.
Well, not even that crazy. Bungee jumping is, if you actually look at X Games, it's the safest thing in X Games. It's
completely controlled.
A bunch of old nerd dads that are like bungee jumping enthusiasts, and then so they'll bungee jump, and then like they'll do that move where like they'll pick up a pencil off the ground, or they'll get in a kayak and bungee jump off a kayak, which is literally just them inching. They'll get in a kayak, they'll have the pole, and and then they'll just fall off, and they'll just be bouncing up and down with the kayak. That's just like, okay, like that's it.
Has anybody ever?
That lasted, I think, 1 year.
Has anybody ever had it so it's detachable, right? Like quick release. And go boom, and when it would gently land you, and then you release it, and then you just stay.
Yes, someone's done that. Someone has also done the reverse bungee jump where they tighten the, it's kind of like the slingshot over an iDrive.
Yeah.
But a base jumper actually did this. It's terrifying, but they had like a slingshot apparatus, like 2 cranes, and then they put him. They basically tightened the bungee cord, and then
so he's
held it
like
in place.
a human slingshot.
Yes, and then he got in. He was wearing
standing or
no, it was because the G forces were so much that
I feel like you'd almost have to be a ball.
They were afraid he was gonna pass out. So, but he was in a base rig, and then they released him like the slingshot, and it shot him up like a couple hundred feet. And then he just pulled his base rig and
man,
no thanks.
Especially, that's when you're doing that. Like if I'm on the ground and you're doing this, and I'm in charge of the machine, and it pulls the winch pulls it back.
Yeah,
that moment when I hit the button and I see you go, and I'm not hearing anything, and then I don't see anything open, and it's just a.
Yeah.
What do you do at that point? You just go like, nobody say a word, pack up, we're going home.
That kind of thing, it gives me not only the creeps, but also like affects me. Like that documentary I watched, the Shane McConkey documentary.
I can't.
He was like a base jumper, ski guy, whatever. But they showed the video of his friends. Spoiler alert, but he died. But
what?
Don't have to watch that.
But when he jumped, his friends were like, open, and then that was it. And then that was the creepiest thing for me, because it was like, oh my! They didn't show the video or whatever, but that's how fast it happened. Like that, he only has like 3 seconds.
Yeah, it's nothing,
and it's just a small malfunction. But just like that gave me the creeps, and it still stuck with me.
Yeah.
Just his friends watching him die essentially, and then they're like open, and then they were just silent. That was it. And
nobody like screamed, "Oh my god!" or anything.
They just knew because they were all base jumpers too. So they all knew what would happen if something went wrong, a split second thing. And like I guess I'm sure they all talk about it because these kind of guys. Like I talked to Logic Andy, and like he's a professional skydiver, and he's talked to all his friends that do like proximity
it's
flying.
a reality for them.
Yeah, so they know it's like you make one tiny mistake, and then that's it. There's no. You don't live. You don't like get super injured. I have to go to the hospital. It's just it's
all or nothing.
Yeah. You don't get injured in proximity flying. You know that? Have you guys seen the Netflix show? They've done a series of them. They're like 4 of them. It's and it's all about like proximity flying, and then they mix in some other sports with it. But God, what is it called? There's like a 3 or 4 part series, and it is nuts, dude. Like they show these guys proximity flying through like gorges and basically ice canyons and stuff,
Oh my
where
God.
they'll jump out of a helicopter And because that's the new thing now, because like all the land masses, they've all discovered,
been conquered.
So now it's like, okay, get to the height you need in a helicopter, jump out there, and then proximity fly down like a gorge or whatever. And these dudes are flying with walls on both sides of them, so they're like in the gorge.
Yeah, that's insane.
Proximity flying down thing, like going like 250 miles an hour or whatever forward, and and then they'll show like the still shots of them coming by, and it looks fake. You're like, whoa!
Now, is it possible to proximity fly and control your surroundings to the point where you could do it as a hobby, but you don't have to daredevil get close to the ground? Or does
they do it with clouds?
Yeah, I was going to say, is it possible
That's how they practice.
to still do it but minimize the danger?
Yes, some guy, like apparently Andy, I've talked to Andy about this because he was dabbling with getting into it.
Yeah.
But
I know he's had a lot of friends pass
yeah,
away,
yeah,
so
but
I know he's not really into it.
He's just like, there's too many people that die. It's just too...
He told us that last time I saw him. He was pretty bummed out.
And he's like, if I got into it, like the chances of me dying, like up,
very high, very high.
Because like as a professional skydiver, it's super safe. Like
he's
I got a bunch of redundant.
He's got thousands of jumps under his belt.
Yeah. I mean, over 10,000. But so some of the guys, you could do it where you base jump and you fly next to mountains. So there's always an out. Like, so you're flying and there's a mountain to the right of you, but to the left of you is just, open air.
Yeah.
So, like, you can get close to the mountain, but if anything goes wrong, you go. But those guys, they're going through canyons or whatever. Like,
no way out,
there's
right?
you can't even pull your chute that low. Like, you are 100% committed until you get to a safety point you could pull your chute.
Right.
So, up until, like, the first minute of flying, you cannot.
There's
stop.
no way out. Yeah.
So it's either you make it through this gauntlet or you die, and that's it. And so you can kind of vary how close you get, and some guys they'll push the limit and they get real close. But I mean, there's guys that they'll fly through holes in the granite and stuff. One really famous base jumper proximity flyer that Andy knew died doing hit the side of a wall. Like
well,
you're
just
going
centimeters, man.
Yeah, you're going 250 miles an hour, and you're just, you're done.
Yeah, definitely not my thing.
Although there was a guy that he was trying to come close to a ledge, like basic proximity flying, and then, sometimes they'll set up balloons or something. They'll show you how close.
So you can hit them.
He hit his legs on the ledge, like came too close, and didn't die. Hit his legs, shattered both his legs or whatever.
God.
But was able to pull his chute after and lived. And so I think that's like the
but does
one
he do
rarity.
It again?
Oh yeah.
Why?
You got it.
Yeah, they're addicted, man. It's like they're
because they
their
know,
thing.
like they're like what, and I think it's just like Daniel said,
it's a high.
What you do, that's what you want to do, and you know exactly what you are getting into, and you actually you
enjoy it.
And most of these guys will tell you like this is living beyond what normal humans are living. Like normal people, they take it easy. They live their life. They die of a heart attack. Just like everybody, and that's it. And then he's like, I choose to live like this, and if I die doing this, what's the difference between this?
That's how I am. I choose to live my life to the extreme. And if you guys want to come along, you're more than welcome to. You're more than welcome to get on the extreme train. It's pulling out very, very soon.
Although, what gets me, though, is when, like, some of these guys have kids and stuff, and I'm just like, man, although, it didn't change you. It didn't change who you were. Like, when you have kids, like, it just maybe your priorities change.
Well, you eke back into it too. I mean, even me, I was like, no scooters, no, I got my scooter, I still ride it. You know what I mean? Like you get used to things. I mean, even what we're all dealing with right now, you get used to things, and the next thing you know, that's the new thing.
And once your kids get old enough, I guess, then you are like, you dying will affect them less than you dying when they're 6 as opposed to you dying when they're 16. You know what I'm saying? Like,
see, I've never thought about that, but you're right. I mean,
once they're going into adulthood, like you've had your influence on them.
I think, like, I look at Maisie now and I think I'm pretty much done.
Yeah, she's already independent.
Like, she's pretty good.
Yeah,
I was talking about this with Andrea last night. I was like, she's just not. Like, I was like, how does she cope? What's her coping mechanism? Because she's not the type of kid where if something's going wrong, where she'll come to me to get a hug to like make it better.
Right.
She wants to figure out how to make it better. And I'm like, well, that sucks. I got nothing to do.
yeah.
Both my women don't need me.
Yeah.
In fact,
Independent,
I bring their
you're
worth down.
Yeah, you're worse with them. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like a shackle holding them back.
Yes.
Yeah.
They need to break free.
You're like a tiny meat shackle. That
I am
they're
a tiny meat
dragging
shackle.
along through life. You're only hindering them.
I am.
And holding them back from their full
The
potential.
tiny meat shackle. I think we can end on it. that. We have to take a break. We'll take one, and we'll come back with more A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan right after this.
I want to see how he handles customer service.
This is mean. This is like the meanest thing we've done.
No.
Oh, damn it. What happened? Is that him? What if he's like, I know, I'm on to you.
He's on Twitch.
I got that cough.
See what happens. Will he pick up?
Travis Butler.
Hey, Travis, this is Jeremiah. How you doing, man?
Good, man. How you doing?
Real good. I just kind of wondering, I'd fired off an email from Jeremiah from Rise and Grind Coffee.
Yeah.
Well, I'd fired off an email to you a little while back, and I was kind of expecting to hear back from you, and, never got anything back. I fired off an email to Tom, and he replied right back to me and said I should be talking to you, and it's kind of feels like I'm getting the runaround here, and I'm just trying to spend some money with you guys.
Well, I mean, we were actually just talking about. I don't know if you know. I mean, we're very busy. We were going to be scheduling with a phone call with you later. I was going to give you a call a little later today after we finish lunch.
Sounds like you're freaking the fuck out. Is what it sounds like.
No,
I don't appreciate this. I don't appreciate emailing Tom and then not getting anything back from you, motherfucker. I'm about to rise my foot and grind it right in your asshole.
Oh, I know what the fuck this is. You got me, motherfucker.
Got him.
You got me, motherfucker.
Did you almost shit your pants?
I wasn't. I was getting ready to do it. I was getting ready to fucking cuss you out.
You're going to cuss him out?
I was going to rise my foot and grind it in your ass.
Oh, you're going to...
I was getting ready to be like, dude, I don't
so
even
uncomfortable.
Tom, look at Tom. Tom, hey, Butler.
His pompadour deflated.
Tom's whole pompadour deflated. And he looks like he's about to have a heart attack. Why were you so uncomfortable?
Because I felt Butler.
I started feeling bad.
All right, Butler, I'll leave you alone.
I was trying to understand what the hell you guys were talking about, and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, this guy sounds like fucking crazy. I was like,
you failed the test, Butler.
Fail.
We take every money, even from crazy people.
We did the same thing to
Mostly
Samantha.
crazy people.
I don't know if you remember this, but about 2 years in, I called Samantha's Jeremiah and told her to take all her clothes off like they did at that McDonald's scam. But she did not. She did not do it. She passed the test. You failed the test. So in 2 more years, you'll get another call. Be ready.
By the way, are you hiding in the back of a Panera?
Where are you?
He's hiding in the back of a Panera.
You're talking under your breath like you're in.
I needed this. I needed a good fucking laugh today. Okay.
Are you in the lobby of a Jiffy Lube, watching the WB?
The WB is not a thing anymore.
He's at his other job. He's over at Panda Express working the drive-thru. He's got a mask on. All right, we'll let you go. Bye.
All right.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha, our producer's here. Butler is running an errand, and we don't know what he's doing. And he's on the clock, and we prank called him. If you want to hear that, you got to listen to the Friday Free Show.
Yeah.
And that's
We'll put
every
that
Friday at noon. We go live from the beautiful Tom and Dan Streamline Studios. Shout out to Streamline. Haven't talked to those guys in a minute. You want to know why? Because they're crazy busy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We have a guest on the line right now. We have our Ashley. Ashley Hart, right?
Yep.
What a great name. And we had her on. Now, Sam, this is when my memory gets real
It's
foggy.
pre-COVID.
Yeah,
back
it was
in,
pre-COVID.
It was either.
But I have lost track of all time.
Yeah, January. Was it 2019? I guess we could ask
No,
her.
was it?
Well, we have Ashley via Skype. Ashley, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks so much for having me back.
Oh,
Yeah,
we
no
told you
problem.
we would. We're men of our word. I wish that we could say.
I wouldn't say that.
Well, okay. I wouldn't say-
I'm a woman of my word.
I would say
Samantha
that.
did
Yes,
that.
Samantha's a woman of her word, and she also reminds us of things that we go, oh, yeah, I want to know how that's going. But last time you were in, you had, you and, your team had engineered, you were going to go full bore with a way for ladies and primarily, if not all, female sports, where you can do fantasy sporting for women's sports.
Yeah. And it's She Plays, correct? Is sheplays.com?
She-plays.com.
Okay,
Still trying to get that domain.
Gotcha.
Ooh, I would love it.
I hate it that they do that. Isn't
I
that
know,
terrible?
It is. Let's
Strongly worded email.
Let's talk about women's sports right now because the WNBA is coming back. You'll know better than we will. What sports are coming back?
So soccer actually started this past Saturday. They were
okay.
the first sports league to come back and play live sports. So they've got a tournament that they're doing out in Utah that sadly our local team, the Orlando Pride, did not get to go to because of some positive COVID tests.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, super big bummer there, but it's exciting to have the league back. WNBA is supposed to come to Bradenton to the IMG Academy, but I think it's, I think all the leagues are kind of watching what's happening here in Florida because we're kind of a hot mess. So I hope that they can come. I think they're filling their rosters and planning to. So we'll see. End of July is when that would kick off.
Gotcha.
It's also interesting to me, that for me as a Floridian and a sports fan, it was very weird for me, and I'd like your take on this, Ashley, like to see multiple leagues, whether it be, MLS, ladies soccer, whether it be the men's, regular NBA.
Yeah.
You've got all these teams that suddenly looked and they're like, oh, we'll just come to Florida. We'll just do everything in Florida. But the dichotomy of that, the strangeness there is that we, I don't think anybody could argue that we have probably not handled things as well as maybe we could have.
Yeah.
When it comes to our state. And then I wonder if some of these places will then second guess our area because of the fact that, like you said, it's a bit crazy and hot messy here.
Yeah.
Well, I think that the one positive of it is the places that they're going can be like a bubble. And
Yeah.
I think that's what's key to all these leagues coming back. Like that's why the NWSL went out to Utah.
Sure.
I think that's why WNBA is going to the IMG Academy, and MLS, NBA are going to Disney where they can have their own hotels and kind of be sequestered by themselves. So I think as long as people are responsible with that and making sure that they're not coming in and out of said bubble, but just really protecting each other, then yeah, I mean, I think it's exciting to have potential of all these sports leagues back in action.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point as far as like they have, they're trying to set up a system where everybody will be kind of sequestered in a bubble. Obviously, the less you're exposed to anybody,
Sure.
the less chance you'll get of, getting coronavirus. But then I've heard of multiple people talk about like, well, then you got the employees of like the restaurants and the resorts and the hotels and stuff they're staying at, like, well, they're not sequestered. Like they go home and
it
go
certainly
back.
spider webs itself out.
Yeah, and then so you start to realize you're like, well, you can't be 100% safe, like unless you're in some sort of lab that's secure, totally secure, like from the rest of the world. So then it's like they do the best they can and then mitigate it from there. But do you know? Because you have more inside information than we do. Because I've heard a lot of people talk about like what their plan would be if a person on a team does test positive. Like, then does the whole team then forfeit like the next games? Do they just retest everybody and then go forward and then take the people that test positive and quarantine them?
Yeah, and
like,
it kind of already happened, like what she
it's
was
a
saying
mess,
with the Pride.
Yeah.
I mean, now, Ashley, correct me, but I don't think they were going to be in said tournament or whatever, but they didn't make it that far, right? They didn't even make it to the actual deal.
Correct. Yeah, and so I'm not fully up to date on every league's policy, but I think it would be similar. So the NWSL had said that yes, if there's a positive player or coaching staff or just a positive test, that would then affect the entire squad, because at this point they've been together so much. And so unfortunately, I think some of the people that had tested positive are now coming out and having multiple negative tests. So it's a little bit tricky unfortunately it's now too late to get out there and start playing. But yeah, just having, I think 10 people originally tested positive for the Orlando Pride. But just one of them even would have, I think, knocked out any team.
Gotcha, yeah. Because once the one, then it's like, it becomes like, well, you're in contact with these people, so how do we know? Then even if it becomes very complicated.
Yeah.
And for everybody who scrutinizes like companies or these teams or leagues, like they're just figuring it out as we go. There's no precedent to any of this. So it's like, how do you expect corporations, companies, teams, and stuff to have a viable plan when they're making it up? As you know, and the information changes so rapidly. It's like, okay, even information from a month ago is different than it is now. So it's like, people should cut companies and everybody a little bit of a break here, because there's no plan for this, and there's no precedent for this.
If you've never done it before, you can't have the right answer.
Yeah.
Now, for you guys, as She Plays, like you're designing, you're getting things going. Last time we talked to you, you were in the middle of kind of fleshing it all out. Was this a good thing for? Well, I don't mean a good thing. You know what I mean. Nobody wants to deal with this. But did it give you a buffer, or maybe possibly a little more time to kind of skew your rollout, or did it hurt you in the fact that maybe you had to move some pieces back?
Yeah, great question. So I think that since starting back in February of 2019, we were kind of just steamrolling, like, what can we get out that can engage people? The World Cup was such a great event for us to be a part of. And then after that, it was just like, okay, let's just push pedal to the metal and get things out. And so while I agree, this isn't I wouldn't wish COVID on any of us, but we've been able to take advantage of the slowdown to really pivot and say, all right, we were going in this direction, 100 miles an hour. Is this what's going to be sustainable? And we've actually made some pivots because of that. And so now have a platform that we rolled out a week ago that we're super proud of, super excited to build off of, that actually has a lot of features that we weren't going to have originally. So yeah, it's been, I think investment-wise, it was hard because we were like right at the cusp of some conversations. So that was a little bit of a stinger. But looking back now, I think it probably, helped us tremendously in the long run.
Well, explain the platform to the listeners that may not remember the last time we had you on the show. Tell us about she-plays.com.
Yeah, so it's a fantasy sports site that promotes women's leagues. So anyone can come play. We want anyone and everyone to come play. But it primarily, really solely focuses on women's professional sports leagues in the United States. So the WNBA, NWSL, NWHL Hockey League, MPF Softball, all of those.
Sweet.
So it's kind of like an ESPN Yahoo model, but just giving the platform for women.
Yeah, I like that. We have a couple of listeners in our Twitch chat room that said they signed up.
Yeah.
Namely Norm, who's a bit of a troublemaker, but you'll grow to love him. You'll grow to love him.
And I also think in this day and age, like if you're into fantasy sports, man, it's hard to really win nowadays with literally the fantasy sports industry has been basically taken over by computer algorithms and teams of people that have software. Well, they'll have 10,000 teams in different rosters that computer software will make, and then basically they'll just give you the best probability of winning. It's just turned into an analytics thing.
And for your true fantasy sports guys and gals, I kind of feel like with less information, just on the fact that women haven't gotten a fair shake in sports, it might be more exciting to pivot to ladies sports because
we have a better chance of winning.
That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking that could certainly move more exciting because it's almost like you found an area that's untapped, like no one's messed with it. and quite possibly you get in there and have a lot more fun.
I know people that make a lot of money betting on WNBA. I don't know though. I listen to them on podcasts.
Well, why
and
don't
stuff.
you do this and make us some money?
It's the thing you have to
You
dive.
love betting.
You have to dive into it, and then you need a professional who knows about the players.
You
and
can talk to
sport.
Ashley.
I know. That's why I'm trying to.
You've got all these people in your Ashley. He's got a bevy of people in his phone that are his like quote gambling. Is like what do they call that? It's
gambling
like,
network.
Yeah, it's like your network of like aces, you know. And I would like to nominate Ashley to be your side of ladies sports.
Yeah. Do you would you like to be in my gambling network? I've got the Puerto Rican Scorpion. I got Joey. He's autistic.
You got Joey.
And then
I told you not to say that part.
That's all I have right now.
Yeah.
Joey and the
Joey
Puerto Rican Scorpion. He knows the Puerto Rican Scorpion knows all about Major League Baseball, which is not playing right now, so he's very mad.
Yeah.
But how much do you know? Like a WNBA, do you know enough that you think that you could have an edge over, let's say, even the novice in that sport? Like, how familiar are you with a lot of these women's sports?
Yeah, I mean, I think I probably more knowledge than your average person, but still not experts. I mean, I still go to experts to try to get, like ideas for content or,
the deep dive.
Figuring out how to, put a roster salary on a player.
What if
What
if I knew somebody in this area that I might live near that played in the WNBA?
Ooh, I would love to speak with them.
I'm not telling you.
Yeah.
It's a finder's fee for that. I'll help Ashley because she's sweet.
But I will say what has been really exciting too with this like new rollout of leagues. This was actually the first time that the Women's Soccer League ever had odds put on them at the Las Vegas booking.
Yeah, I remember you saying that last time you were in. Yeah. You said that whereas you didn't have that could quite possibly change in the future, or at least you would like for that to change. When did that change, and did anybody say anything about why they just decided to do that? Is it just purely on interest, and who decides that?
Good question on who decides it. I probably just some of the big companies out in Vegas,
Sure.
But this was the first time for the soccer. WNBA has had some, college sports have had some.
Yeah.
And we are not a sports betting platform. I think that's a great idea and something that we would, potentially have interest in playing that role in the future. But I think that is going to drive interest, and that's really like the shift that's happening in fantasy sports to sports betting on DraftKings and FanDuel and all sorts of stuff like that.
A weird funny stat is that like I know more people that bet on Ladies World Cup the last time it rolled through when we talked to you than have ever bet on any other sport I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
Like just because they knew the team was good. You know what I mean? Like, and it's always fun to root for. Like, it's fun that the USA ladies soccer team, the U.S. women's national team is the top tier team. Especially in Orlando when we have basically the worst MLS soccer franchise out there. It's nice to put your money behind the winners,
And
feels good.
The Vegas sports books, they were dying for anything to pop back up so they could put a line on it. Like when all sports shut down, like they started putting lines on ping pong and things like that,
right.
which they were getting killed because they set the limits low so they wouldn't take too much of a bath. But it turns out like ping pong and cornhole and stuff, they're a lot like what's the the highlight? It's like a lot like highlight where it's like, is this more of a play than it is a sport? Like you don't know if it's actual legit. There's a lot of like human interference and like you don't know, like someone could throw the match very easily. There was a lot of questions involved.
I know what you mean.
But they'd set limits low just so you'd have something to bet on. But that's where you can make the most money, especially with sports that bettors are not used to betting on it, because then it's like willy-nilly and then no one really. So if you knew a lot about it, you could probably make some money just finding out, like, because for sure the Vegas didn't know how to set the odds, so they'd probably just be like, who's the better team? -1 goal. Like they would just throw up stuff just to see.
This no money, I'm guessing Ashley, I can play with She Plays. I don't have to put any money in. I just go and sign up and then enjoy, right?
Yeah, so we've got a standard account that gives you access to games and some message boards, and then we've got premium memberships as well, which is like a monthly subscription, and you get access to some other games. But you're not playing to enter and then getting money back. We do hope that like with some more events coming up that we could do like where you enter and you could potentially get money back, like prize money, but not right now.
That would be amazing.
And I think I asked you this last time, but do you have, is there an ability to have like computer programs put up the stats on your site, or do you actually have people physically doing it? How does that work? Because I know a lot of like, you're talking the NFL and stuff, like at that point they have it's automated right now. So how do they do it with stats with your site?
Yeah, and I'm going to apologize in advance if there's extra noise because someone's coming by with a leaf blower right outside.
Hey, are you in our studio? That's exactly what we have.
So just let me know if I need to mute. But
you're fine.
Yeah, so ideally we would have API integration for stats, yes. That is something that is lacking, though, in the women's sports industry. And so right now we are doing it with the magic of Google Sheets all by our lonesome. And,
I think that's cool.
I feel like I'm back in college staying up till 3 a.m., but it's awesome.
But that makes people want to support it, I feel like,
Yeah, it's the beginning. It's the grassroots of this. Like
that makes me want to sign up even more in the fact that you're down there with the sheet, filling everything out. I think that's really cool.
And I'm sure you feel like this, but there's when fantasy sports first kind of emerged in the popularity, there was a lot of sports purists that were mad because it seemed like people were not following their one home team anymore, and then they were just watching games to follow the players, and people are like, "Oh, you can't root against the Dolphins. That's your team." Then it was just like, "No, I'm a fan of the sport and all the athletes in the sport," and then but it's actually helped a lot of sports because it exposed teams you normally wouldn't watch, and then you got to learn about the players. And actually, the more you learn about the players, the more you dive into the actual
you're
sport.
more invested in the sport.
More invested, and you actually enjoy the product more. I said this about many sports. Like, people are like, "Oh, why don't you vote? Why don't you gamble on?"
Why don't you vote, Tom?
Vote or gamble.
We'll talk about that.
But they're like, "Why don't you gamble on this?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know anything about this sport." So
it's
not as fun. It's just a coin flip. Yeah. But if you knew about it, you knew the players, makes it a lot more entertaining.
It does.
With everything. So fantasy sports I feel like in this element, get people to research about the players, watch more, get more invested, and therefore make their entertainment better with all of it.
Yeah, and I think it only helps the leagues, right? Because you're no longer just watching your local market game. You're interested in the market that's across the country. And how is that team doing? Because I have some of them on my roster. So, I mean, I think it is exciting. And, for those diehard fans, if you're like me, like I have a rule that I don't draft any Patriots ever on my fantasy football teams. And sorry for Patriot fans. But, you can have like fun in that too, of like, your own fun rules of I hate this team. I'm never going to want to pull for them.
You can finally pick up Brady then. Right?
Ashley,
technically,
as a gambling purist, you're doing it all wrong there. You're letting your emotions
don't
take away.
Let him mansplain you.
We're not gambling quite yet. We're not sports betting yet.
I know, but even as a fantasy purist, you're taking away opportunity by limiting yourself.
Don't listen
to him. That's all mumbo jumbo. Ashley,
it's fun for all different types of those kinds of folks. I mean, I think that is something that we're going to want to add on as like an advanced fantasy player level, that people who really are that intense, a lot of people just want the community and like the fun rivalry between their family and friends, but there are some people that love the serious competition of it, and so I think that's something that we'll definitely add on in the future.
Indeed. Well, hey, keep us abreast of everything that's happening. Let us know if anything changes and how the rollout continues. It's she-plays.com if you want to check it out. And it's always fun talking to you, Ashley. It's Ashley Hart from She Plays. And, hey, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. Really appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, anytime.
No problem.
We'll check back when
We'll talk to you soon.
See you soon.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
Later. Oh, I hung up on her.
How dare you.
I'm real bumbly. I went a full Butler there. Oh, by the way, he just came in. He's mad.
He's mad. You interrupted his errand.
Well, what if we
He's pooping over in Publix like prank calling him.
we should talk about that. The prank we're gonna do. Remember with the truck? We had a whole meeting about it, and we were gonna do it. Then we got disinterested.
I forget. I don't know what we're talking about.
We were gonna steal his truck and do the whole thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
We had a whole half an hour conversation, and we started planning it out.
When was that?
When was this? Is this the one we were going to burn his house down?
No.
There's been so many meetings we've had about the ultimate prank.
Reese was going to get his keys.
That's
and we're
right.
like, we're going to steal his truck and then we'll wrap it. But you wanted to wrap it with him nude, BF and a dragon or something.
Oh my god!
And then I was like, let's do a simple Candyland. And then we got an argument. And
Candyland.
It's like a whole truck in Candyland. That's funny, right? Not that funny.
We got to get out of here.
Yeah,
that's why.
Oh my God!
That's why I
full
came out.
COVID.
We gotta go.
I coughed everywhere. We all got it. All right. We may not see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
6 feet.
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan.
You want to do some emails?
I do.
Some
I do.
Voicemails. Do an email.
Email. Hi, Tom, Dan, Sam, and Butler.
Yes.
My name is Colton, and I have been a longtime listener and recent BDM. I would like to do a segment on interesting business news around the world using sources such as the Wall Street Journal and New York Times.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
I would try to make it lighthearted while also interesting. Please let me know your thoughts. So this is someone trying to take you up on your
deal.
We've only had
Okay.
one person email us and say that they wanted to take you up on the offer of getting a segment on the show. It's from Colton. Colton was the only person that emailed me.
So you're interested in the business news.
Yeah. Colton's business review. Prime Mike, if you're
The
listening.
Colton
Bulletin.
The Colton report.
The Colton report.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, let's do it.
Stone Coldton.
I only do my business on the show, so let's. What day do you want to do this? Wednesday.
Do you have a number for
afternoons?
Colton? Are we?
I have his email.
No, that's not gonna work. I need a number.
We want to call him.
I want
and
to
be like,
prank
do
call
the
him.
Colton business review
I want
now.
to prank call him right now. So what I'll do is I'll prank call him.
Yeah.
And I'll yell at him, and he's like, "Who is this?" And I'm like, "Do your Colton report." Is this Dan? Do it. And then I'm yelling at him.
Yeah. And he's like, and he's getting his papers. And he's like, in today's Wall Street Journal, we're like, not good enough.
Back to EJ. The trick is just to find people that mentally and well, you gotta.
They're weak.
Yeah, they're weak. Yeah, I wasn't gonna say it. There's no other way to say it. The key to being a good radio show host is you find people that are weaker than you.
Yeah, damn it.
And then you make them think you like them.
Yeah.
And then you kind of you lure them in.
Yeah.
With fame, they got stars in their eyes.
But you beat them down, and
Yeah.
that does that. What's that effect where you fall in love with your
Stockholm
captor?
syndrome.
Yeah. They get a Stockholm syndrom where they actually you're like mean to them, and you
Not
yell
to
at
be
them.
confused with John Holmes syndrome. It's way different.
You embarrass them,
That's AIDS.
and that causes them to love you even more.
Yes.
And they're super loyal, but for no reason because you don't pay them.
But then
anything.
one day they do come to their senses, and
Oh,
they're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"This guy's never really liked me."
Yeah. But
Are you guys describing Butler? Right
No.
No. He's actually he's doing
that
something to us.
Yeah. I don't know what his lawn con is.
Hypnotizing us.
Yeah, something's happening.
Yeah.
I feel myself
You just
changing
do
every
anything
day.
you want, and then nothing with there's no.
Somehow he's convinced.
You don't really
us
have
to-
any.
He comes in here and he just hangs out, and we just throw money at him. It's insane.
Yeah. I'm like, call the Rise and Grind company, and then forget, and then
No.
you break on, and then we're like, and then we'll forget to.
And then I love it. Then I'm like, then he comes in and I'm
Jeremiah's like, I heard you do the prank call, but I just still never got a call. And we're like, oh yeah, we forgot. It actually happened.
how does this happen? I don't.
We're like, quick, prank call Butler, and we don't call him.
How does this happen? So Butler leaves, he runs his errand. I prank call him. I laugh, and then when he comes back, I go, "Great job."
What did he do? He didn't do anything.
I was like, you did an awesome job. All right, here.
You got the goods.
You got the goods. You have the triple threat.
You know what? Half day today.
Yeah, everyone gets a half day.
I left again. Prank call.
Except for Samantha. Samantha, you stay here and count the. Why don't you count the koozies in the office? And once you're done counting them again. You know that boss that just wants you to do stuff.
Yeah. Which is stupid, by the way, because you're like, what is that doing for you? Is that for you get some sort of gratification that they're here at work and they're at least doing something? They're wasting time.
Yeah. But you have to get them to do that. Let's try this one. It kind of ties in.
Okay, so apparently Butler likes to chop dandelions. I have a new thing kind of in the same vein. Since we moved to Florida, there weren't pine trees where I was from in South Texas. And so stepping on pine cones has become my favorite thing. If ever we're walking the dogs or something and there's pine cones, I like to step on them when they're nice and they've just fallen off the tree, so they're perfect and they crunch under your foot. Oh, it's so fun.
Typical chopper. We've got if you're a chopper like Butler, where when you're walking and you see something that you could break easily, and you just start either chopping it or punching it or novelty kicking it.
Yeah, stepping on it. Yeah.
If you're a chopper, leave us a voicemail message.
Yeah, tell us what you like to chop.
1-844-TOMNDAN. That's 1-844-TOM, the letter N, Dan, or you can use our app. I'm not a chopper, but I feel like if trained correctly, I could grow to love it.
Butler, get in here.
No.
I want to ask you a chopper question.
He's mad.
Were you chopping on your errand?
I don't think he's ever going to talk to me again.
Butler, I'm curious because maybe, Dan, you want to bet on this? Like, so a chopper, if he sees a kid's ball on the sidewalk.
Kicks it as far as he can. Did I answer right?
Like, I would just walk around it,
I wouldn't
or
even
step
notice
over
it.
or not even notice it. But a chopper, if a kid's ball's sitting there, he'll go and kick it as far as he can, right?
Oh, yeah. Into traffic.
Is that the case?
Well, an advanced chopper would actually question if I could pop it first or if I can kick
Pop it?
We got it wrong.
Oh, okay.
He's right. He would probably try to destroy it, stab it with a knife or a pencil or something.
Okay, all right.
He's right.
Totally ruin it.
We don't know what we're talking about. He's the real chopper.
Yeah.
Give me another chopper question.
Okay. Now, this is not really a Florida thing, but maybe up in Virginia you dealt with this.
Knock a kid's snowman down?
No, well, snowman or icicle.
Oh, chop.
You chop the icicles.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Is that a reach?
Every-
You grab a broom, or you start swatting them. You actually you stone cold stun every snowman you possibly can.
See, we got it wrong again.
Nerd.
Stone cold stunner. And then if you're walking out and it's a snowy, like a roof, you jump up and you slap it, and then all the roof snow falls on your friends.
Oh, yeah.
Slam the door really hard,
Yeah.
They call that America's Funniest Videos.
We'll never be as good as him at chopping.
Got another question. You're walking down the beach with your
Looking
wife,
mighty fine.
and no one around, but there's a pristine sandcastle
chop it.
that a kid had built.
Oh.
Now, it's not you. The kid's not around anymore. He built it. He
Right.
went home with his parents, but it's there. Everybody else is walking around it. What does the chopper do?
Oh, he
on my one
stomps
wheel?
it.
Yeah, nails it on a one wheel.
Okay, yeah.
Here's
You
one
ride
more.
over it?
Here's
Well,
one.
it all depends. Is it a drippy castle or is it a sand castle? Drippy castle, kick all day.
I love a
What's
good
a
drippy.
like the
You
sand?
know, take the loose sand and drips into like that.
Yeah, you've never read a drip
Oh, the
castle?
drip castle.
I love
Oh,
a good
yeah.
drip castle. Here's another thing
Ours
that a
looks like a
chopper
dong.
does. This is an advanced move, though. It does look like a lumpy dong.
Yeah.
Here's another advanced move for choppers. If you write your name on the beach, they will underneath it write "is gay."
Oh, yeah.
That's a guaranteed.
I forgot choppers are the ones that write in bathrooms
Thank
and things.
you.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
I don't support that. Look,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
are what you are, and you should be damn proud of it. But they will write.
Yeah. I always wonder, like, I'm sitting there, and it's the worst case scenario if I'm sitting in a public restroom. It's an emergency.
Here, I mean, here it's, every morning is like 3, 4, 5 times.
And then I'm looking around, and then I see all the writing
For a
and-
good time call.
Yeah, that or just like
a couple of swastikas up there, all kinds of crazy
be
stuff.
yelling, it'd be a racist, or they'll
Yeah.
be like, some your mama joke or whatever.
Sure.
I'm like, who is writing this?
Yeah.
Who is this? Choppers, right?
Yeah, choppers.
Yeah. Choppers right in the
Standard
bathroom.
choppers carry a Sharpie in their pocket so they can write chop.
Also,
Right
I think
chop.
choppers sprinkle their pubes on the
On the
top.
seat.
No,
Oh.
And
on
the bottom.
on top of a urinal. Because I always look on
the
top.
top.
Yes, there's sometimes
He's brought this up before.
and I'm like, what? Who's doing this?
What, they pulling a
Yeah.
Because it's eye level, right?
I think it's a chopper. Yeah, there's no way
Yeah,
it's floated
they're
up there.
cranking
I think
Well,
chopper.
okay, Butler's laughing like
He's done it. He's done it.
You're on to us.
It's a secret society of chopping.
I like Butler gets his earpiece. He's like, he's flying dangerously close to the sun.
He found out about the pubes.
Cancel the Netflix.
We got a non-chopper on the choppers. We got a non-chopper on the choppers.
Yeah. And also, back in the phone book days, Butler's older than I am, so he knows. A chopper will definitely, ruin any phone book. Rip it out, some sort of wee-wee in there.
Wee-wee on the phone book. You never done the wee-wee on the phone book? Well, you can't, but you could.
Yeah, I'm just saying you'll just ruin anything that's in front of you that's like for public use. Because
Like you're on the payphone, and when you're done, you smash the receiver as many times as you can until the earpiece
Or you
breaks
put
off.
gum in it on the
You put gum in the coin slot.
Yeah, because like for every time you reach under something, a public place, and there's gum under there.
Or boogers.
That's a chopper.
Yeah, choppers.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Or boogers. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all coming together now. It's basically the downfall of our society.
The choppers.
It's why
Yeah.
we can't have good things, right?
Yeah,
It's,
they chop 'em up.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
Yeah. They're chopping, or they're stepping on it, or they're putting their gum on it.
Like every single sticker that a listener has stuck on the
Like a public,
inside of the West End Trading Company in Sanford. Every single sticker that says Tom and Dan, somebody has either written "are gay" or "are turds"
Yeah.
under every sticker, guaranteed. There's never been one just left.
Yeah.
It's always been chopped.
Yeah.
Always.
Choppers are doing that. Yeah,
Always.
Yeah. Probably our listeners, but they're choppers,
They're
so
choppers.
they can't help
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah.
They actually
Can't help the chop.
Yeah, they like us. They're just they have to chop. It's in their nature. It's
Can't do anything against, can't change it.
You would have to literally put Butler in a straitjacket for him to not chop.
I
Like,
think
he
he'd still
can't
chop.
control
I think
it.
he'd roll his body over whatever. Like if he's walking in a straight
holding it like,
stop
biting
he's
it. I'm
chopping
slapping
with his
his mouth.
face. I'm like, you're going to hurt your face.
You're biting all the flowers. I'm like, I'm digging it out of his mouth.
You gotta
like
give him a Hannibal mask.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's like a pit bull dog that's gone crazy on gunpowder or something. He's like, at some point it becomes unchoppable.
Yeah.
It's unstoppable. Choppable. I mean unstoppable.
It's happening.
It's unstoppable, choppable.
Yeah.
Butler,
right.
you can hang out for this one because this is you're a genius in this area too.
Yo, BDM Neil here. Tom, I gotta say, you can't be Chong level until you can straight up smoke back-to-back J's. Because I could eat edibles and I'll also smoke you downtown. And I'll give you one dab and you'll fly off to the moon. And I'll be taking another dab after that. After I took a fat dab.
We all know those people, right?
Smoky
Yeah.
downtown is something completely
Yeah.
different in my world.
And I contend that, all right, you may be able to consume. Yeah, there's plenty of alcoholics out there that could drink a entire handle of Papa vodka and then drive and be perfectly fine. Yeah. Guess what? Your insides are rotten with alcohol, and it's not getting you messed up because your liver stopped processing.
We never did our alcohol off, me and you.
Oh, yeah.
I still think I could drink you under the table.
better get it
probably.
done.
I'm become a lightweight kind of recently, but I'm the same thing with THC. So yes, I understand you could probably do 5 dabs and take 1,000 milligrams of edibles and stuff, but I contend that I'm actually getting higher than you are. Because your tolerance is so high that you probably can only
You're wasting.
Yeah.
What say you, Chopper?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I contend I get higher than Tom every single fucking time.
We are doing ACT.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He's chopping.
Chop. Oh, Sam's mad.
I'm sorry, Sam.
Go run another errand.
But I'm
there it is.
I guess
Brett called me.
with getting high, it's kind of like people seeing the color purple. What you're seeing and I'm seeing could be the same purple, but minor
Oh, I
differences.
thought you meant the movie.
Yeah,
No,
I was gonna say,
no.
Oprah is phenomenal.
I mean, so it's like, how do you describe a color? So when you're talking about getting maximum high or higher than Chong, like
it's your perception
yeah,
of
my
how high you are.
So I'm thinking the Butlers, because I don't think they're. It seems like a maximum high at the time. Like it's like anywhere beyond that, it would be
Full
like
panic mode.
I get a headache or a
Oh.
panic attack
Mhm.
or like fall asleep. You know,
Right.
like
Yeah.
So it seems like there's a max. Same thing with drunk, right? There's like a level before you either black out or start vomiting, right?
Yeah.
So it's like. You don't want to get there because
No.
you know, so
too far.
Yeah, so I feel like the same thing with THC. Like there is a good, perfect level. Now it's that way to everybody.
I
but
use my pork butt analogy. I think you can only, like, when you're smoking meats, there's only so much smoke
that it can absorb.
That it can absorb before you're really at some point you're just going to end up wasting your wood.
Exactly.
Now, if you got the wood to use, do it. I mean, it's gonna
good analogy.
But
yeah.
if you pull it early, a lot of people you do the, what is it called, the Texas crutch. You wrap it in foil and you let it continue to do its thing, which is like kind of what Tom's saying. You've reached the highest you can get. You will get no higher. Might as well just ride that out.
Yeah, I feel like
I think that's probably accurate
because I could still take like a 10 milligram sativa from True Leave pill, and it gets me high. I get feeling. And now if I take 2, it'll get me more. But 3, there's a diminishing return there. Like it doesn't get me double high than I was. It's just like a very incremental increase, or I just start getting like a headache or tired. And like
I know
there's
we
sweet
do a
spot.
lot of analogies, but it'd be like 1 is 1, 2 is 2, and then it'd be 3 is 2.2.
Yes, yeah.
4 is 2.8,
and then
and then 5 is I'm asleep.
Yeah. Or
it's like
but is that the case? I mean,
I'd have to do it and then continuously remind myself to journal about it.
Yeah. It'd have to be an experiment.
Probably not going to do that.
Well, I just toot and ride it out. Like I don't ever like toot. Like I mean, I just toot and ride.
Yeah. And then usually, what does it take? A couple hours, then you start getting
About an hour.
You
2.
re-up a little bit after that.
I might toot my pen a little bit more.
Same thing with beers. Like you wanna get that buzz, but not the drunk, because the drunk is sloppy.
Yeah,
and then
correct.
you start feeling crap. Like
and you can't go backwards.
Like no. Like really, it's like 2 White Claw, and then it's really hard to replicate it after that because you already had the 2. So like even if you waited an hour. You have
then
another
you're
one.
sleepier. And it's not the same.
So you only have a sweet, but is that like that with THC? Because I feel like when I first take THC, like I usually do it after the show when I get home or whatever, I'll take some THC, some sativa, and then the initial from sober to high, I feel really good. But then after that, like I can't ever get that really good feeling from sober to high again. Like once I'm already high, it doesn't ever get that much better.
That's kind of why I'm thinking about branching out into like illegal drugs.
Well, THC
because,
used to be illegal.
Well, but it's legal now. And to be quite honest with you, I'm kind of bored.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard.
So I'm thinking
I got a line on some Maine.
So I did beer and I did liquor.
Yeah.
And I've done marijuana, and I think
Let's
next
go
up,
ayahuasca.
No, that's a little too granola for me. I'm going
mushrooms?
meth.
Oh.
yeah. They say I
have heard that a little bit of meth is good for you.
Well, it helps Tom.
Yeah, I can give you.
Amazing Jonathan said.
Well, like, he was just doing a little bit
Yeah.
similar to
Microdose.
Adderall. He was just doing
Yeah.
I bet if I gave you like 5 or 6 of my Adderall, you crush it up and snort it, you'll feel.
You don't need that much.
Would I feel one? If I took one right now, would I be like, I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah.
What's it make me feel like?
More aware.
Like you're all of a sudden
energy.
Goddamn Superman.
Will it make me?
But then I don't even notice now.
Serious question.
Yeah.
Will it make me a long, hairy, and hard to carry big cock chopper?
My God.
Well, you gotta mix in some testosterone. There's a good cocktail, like you get some tea, some Adderall, some THC that's all together. Oh,
that's got a speed.
Superman. Yeah.
My favorite on the camping trips used to be Oxycontin.
Truthful.
I'm being truthful. Why?
Everybody laugh.
Look, man, this is always.
Well, yeah, I found it funny.
I like these two guys. Like, I've always laughed at people being like, why would you say that? And I'm like, what? It's happened.
Yeah,
It's the
right.
truth. My favorite of the camping trips, I called it Cobra Plus.
Yeah.
It was Oxycontin, 2 to weed, ice cold cheap beer.
Yeah.
All 3 of those? Oh, my God.
Yeah. It's a one day.
It's the X Factor.
One day you don't wake up.
Yeah, well, no.
And
Then one
just
day
remember.
you fall off the roof and die.
Yeah. Anyway, drugs, pretty good. I mean, you can't say they're bad. I mean, they're bad for you and kill a lot of people. But
What are you going to need if you got COVID?
That's true.
You're going to need some drugs.
You need that. What are they
It's,
called?
I think it's called marzipan.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say the old, the other one that Trump was saying was good.
Quantum aquatic quail.
Quantum onomatopoeia?
Yeah, whatever.
I think it's
that word.
Onomatopoeia?
I didn't like that word. Like it was like
Yeah, it's a weird word.
Moist. It was that word that I was like
hydroxychloroquine. Or
Yeah.
something?
I didn't like the
Chloroquine.
I was like, I don't like it. It doesn't. Phonetically, it doesn't sound good.
I want to ride my bicycle.
We did too much recording.
Yeah, we're going crazy.
This is what
I just heard Queen, and I wanted to suddenly listen to a bunch of Queen now.
They're a good band. What happened with them?
A lot.
I mean, they're still around.
A lot.
Yeah, no.
If you watch the movie, though, they cut out all the gay stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I saw the movie.
Especially if you live in a more repressed country. They don't want you seeing any of that.
No, is that why they did that?
I would say that they probably didn't show as much of that for financial reasons, which is kind of crappy.
You wanted
not cool.
They want
it should have been as accurate as humanly possible without offending.
I'm not sure why they did that.
It's
little
Daniel's
weird.
right. It's probably because nowadays you want to make a movie that's
You
appeals
you
worldwide.
whitewashed it. But you took out reality, right?
It's a business thing.
Yeah, but they just, I mean, what's his name? Adam Lambert. Like, he's openly gay and he's now the lead singer. So what's
He's
the difference?
awesome.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, not for the band.
No, he's
It's
just saying for the global
movie.
market.
Yeah, but they were a huge part of the movie. Like, they basically helped make that movie.
I know.
Yeah,
But
well,
they
they
also
didn't talk
wanted
about
to
it,
be
yeah.
successful. You know what I mean? Like
So, like, if they're playing the movie in India and China and all these other countries that may be more
like frown
backwoods,
upon it.
Yes.
or because they want a global market now with movies. So it's
that
kind of
happens a lot, man.
why all the action movies
Still
and
weird to me.
Marvel. Yeah, the other countries, they still
they go in and they alter things so they can make extra money. We got to get out of here.
Yeah.
TomandDan.com for all things Tom and Dan. Great job, everybody, and we will see you next week.